And transition. There we go. Actually gave people a proper warning for once. Good evening, everyone. Welcome
You
to...
never do that.
I know, right? I'm spoiling
David likes
guys.
to just rough.
Throw us in.
Yeah, just surprise you. Welcome everyone to Legends of Logomancy. This is Frontier Adventures Season 2. My name is David. I'm your Dungeon Master. But you don't care about me. You're here for the lovely 4 individuals below me who are going to help me tell a wonderful collaborative story. We have a new face amongst the crowd.
Yes.
Everyone say hi to Blackwell, who will be playing Theodore Blade. We'll get to that in a little bit, I promise. However, for the moment, since you are the new person at our table, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be here. This was spur in the moment, random. I was just like, I got a ping on my phone from Discord. They need a player. You know what? Why not? Let's do this thing. Let's do it. And it's like, oh, it's for the 2024 Players Handbook.
Yeah.
You know what?
We get special limited edition sneak peek.
So not only is Blackwell playing a brand new character, a brand new face at our table, he is also playing with the 2024 rules, so he's playing this game from the future.
Yeah.
So he can tell us how awful it is. No, it could be
Being awesome.
Here's the thing. I don't claim to be from the future or the past. I just exist. I am an anomaly.
You are timeless.
Quite frankly, how I got here is a whole wild story on its own. That's for a whole later date. That's for a separate video.
You know, we have this podcast called Roll for Beer.
But I'm a wine person. I'm a mixed drink person.
We can make that happen.
I will 100% kick James out to drink wine with you. Like, don't
Hold on.
But I also can't get plastered because I gotta wake up in the morning for a 2-year-old that's gonna be looking at me like, what's good at 7 a.m. or 6:30, 6:45 a.m.
Oh, so you get to sleep in. That's what I'm hearing.
Sleep in?
Yeah.
That is.
What is sleep? It's not like 6 in the morning. You're good.
Oh, he does that still.
Plan.
He will do that 5:30 or 6 o'clock. He will randomly do that sometimes after a few months.
Yeah. we call it roll for day drink. And we'll roll to make a cocktail.
Listen, mimosas, if I could, I would.
Yeah, but it's a roll table, of course, to see what we're putting in this horrible drink, and then we'll have a talk show and drink something amazing.
Yeah, why do you hate me?
Oh, because I love content.
Because you know,
and you're gonna be seeing a lot of it.
I'm the co-host for that. I'm gonna have to do it.
Not if I take over.
Come for my job?
Yeah.
If y'all
Welcome to the chaos.
want me, just hey, I'm here.
Always. I will reach out. I need you for Neon City coming back eventually.
Of course. Until I start working, which quite frankly I don't know, because we're now in holiday season. Well, we're in that weird period of we're moving to holiday season. Jobs are still available, but we're taking them off. So yeah, here's holiday stuff, and I'm like, oh great, fun, beautiful. Okay. So who knows? So until then, I am available. If you need me, I am here. If you need something from me or just want to talk, I am here. My phone's literally in my hand most days, unless the gremlin's trying to take it from me or trying to take photos of himself in said phone. I love my son. Just some days I need adults. We only can talk so much,
You came to the wrong place.
I was gonna say.
Let me be specific. I need my slightly traumatized neurodivergent alphabet mafia folk. I can't do normal because it just
Yeah, no, I get you.
None of us are normal here.
Everyone drink.
Then
I
starting
warned
off
you,
the stream,
yeah. Teagan, how was your week? How are things?
My week's been good. Getting ready to get our new puppy in the next week or so. James brought me a shiny new microphone. Yeah, that's kind of been my week. Hasn't been too busy at work, so that's good.
Oh, that's always.
But yeah, holiday season coming up. My birthday first, and then holidays.
Okay, we'll put it on the calendar. Wish Teagan a happy birthday on stream.
Well, it's actually during FallCon, so.
Oh, okay. wish Teagan a happy belated birthday on stream.
Make birthday content of Teagan at FalCon.
There you go.
You go to your birthday con, then it's into the trenches.
Yep, always.
Eon, how's your week been?
Great. Good. Tired. I'm so tired. We're prepping for some back to school programming at my work, and oh boy, does it feel like I'm the only one who hasn't had their brain sucked out with a straw. Just me and the mannequins over there at the office. But that's what it is. We are good to go. We are having a good time. Last Friday, I streamed all of the Portal 2 co-op with a lovely friend of mine. You can find that VOD over on It's Neon Graffiti at Twitch. Or clips of it that are very funny, including me laughing at them for falling into a pit of acid very obviously, and then walking right into that pit of acid immediately after laughing at them for it.
Yeah.
But aside from that, we're good. I'm excited for D&D 2024. My character isn't converted yet. I'm still using the 2014 rules, but I'm excited to see the changes and everything come out and getting all hyped for the new edition. So we're good.
And then last but not least, Allison, how are you? How's life?
Hi. I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. I went to go to Ottawa, and I was trapped there because my plane got canceled, which is great. And you know, missing another day at work, having to call your boss and say there is no physical way for me to get there in time. Other than that, I actually had a great time. I was actually in Ottawa to meet my brand new nephew who was just born. So that was really special for me. I got to go to a lantern festival, which was really cool. And I also got to do some cool stuff while I was out there. I went to this one place, which if anyone out who knows me knows that I'm a huge book nerd. I love old books. I love used books. That's one of my favorite things. There's this cafe there that's 2 stories of just used old books to buy.
Hell yeah.
And there's they had the first edition of the Peter Pan series, and they only wanted $8, and it was leather bound and everything.
Damn.
And they had the original what was it? Arabian Nights and stuff like that, and it was so cool. And then they had the really pretty art copies of Game of Thrones with the silver foil all over the covers, and I'm just I have a carry-on.
So what I'm hearing is that you got the Peter Pan ones to offer to me as a gift offering.
No, I did not buy the Peter Pan ones. I actually bought some old, because what I love, I'm gonna say this, I love reading those really crappy old romance books. You know the ones I'm talking about, the ones where the man's half naked on the cover and it just says scoundrel. Those things are the funniest things you will read, and you can't stop reading them. I read one where I'm convicted of murder, but my brother's best friend is an FBI agent. I'm like, all right, baby, you do you.
My mom
I'll
used
do
to
you
have a
one
stack
better.
of those books.
I'll do you one better. I've been listening to the audiobook for A Court of Thorns and Roses while playing Darkest Dungeon. I'm not even straight. I kind of find the books hilarious and outlandish and horribly toxic relationship-wise.
Some of them are just hilarious to read that you're like,
it's
okay.
so funny.
I just bought my wife a Kindle because it's our anniversary today. So she's
Oh,
like, I
happy
want a Kindle, and I
anniversary.
was like, easiest anniversary present ever. Click. And she's exclusively using it to read fan fiction that gets, after 30 chapters, a little bit steamy. So I'll get her to compare
Smart.
notes.
We all love a slow
This
burn.
is why I love your wife. Because I'm like, girl, I get it. You want my romance books after I'm done? I'll drop them off at your house.
I love your wife because she came with me out to the mountains and just listened to me for 3 days straight, look at the mountains and go, rocks.
We're strange strange group. But I'm happy to be back. I just got picked up my dog, so he's pretty tired. And yeah, so that's pretty much what. And I'm getting ready for FalCon, so I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah, I'm also getting ready for FalCon. That's another. I didn't say it, but I'm gonna say it now. FalCon. I'll be there.
Just using the-
I won't.
I will be. I will be doing the painting.
I'm also painting and running games.
I'm not running games. I'm just in
I
charge.
think
of
I'm
painting.
just running games. But I want to come paint with you guys.
I have experience.
I'm also
What?
doing camera work and content work at FalCon too. So
Yeah, you are.
I'm gonna be
Ooh.
shoving the camera all up in everyone's faces and
Yeah.
making fun of all of you.
Gotta catch me first, bitch.
You have to help children paint. You'll be
Slow
easy
you
to
down.
You are planted in one spot. I already know. I can literally camp out there. You ain't going nowhere.
I just have a spray can ready. Where's Neon?
I've been squatting 130 pounds and doing cardio. You can't escape.
And with that, let's jump on in.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just gonna like die on camera. Don't mind me, guys.
You sick
Okay, I'll take
again?
over.
Of course I am. I've got a gremlin too.
Ah.
Mine's classing into Bard though, so unfortunately, all the troubles that come with that.
I still don't know what he's classing into because he's gone from barbarian, rogue, bard, druid,
Multi-class.
fighter. I don't know at this point. The only thing he hasn't touched is, well, no, he hasn't touched paladin because he's touched cleric. Because he'll come up to you if you're like leaning over and do this little pat on your shoulder, like it's okay.
That's a paladin move for
Yeah.
sure. That's lay on
Yeah.
hands.
That's
right
100% lay on hands.
Yeah.
That's
say-
adorable.
charisma based.
Has he
say more.
sold his soul yet?
That's a good question. Because technically, I feel like he had like a little eldritch being that he played Uno with because he would just stare into space sometimes as a baby. And I'm like, are y'all playing Uno or something? And he would just kind of be there and then come back like after 5 minutes. And I'm like, okay, he played his turn. Cool.
He won.
But no, I get you on the sick part. Trust. I'm still avoiding it.
We're gonna jump back a little bit before we jump to the party, and we're gonna jump over to our new friend Theodore. There's something to be said for having been an adventurer for so long that some families will have stories that involve their great-great-grandparents having been adventurers with you, or at least have encountered you. You remember a time when being an adventurer was something that people went out and did, you and a group of friends moving from town to town, finding adventures as you went, and making piles of coin as you could. And sure, you retired for a little bit. However, tonight, you find yourselves in the Ember Home Frontier Adventure Company bar. And there's something nostalgic about this space for you. It could be the loud cheering, the arm wrestling competition that shouldn't be as close as it is happening in the corner. Or maybe just the fact that everywhere you look, somebody is lifting some form of drink to either cheers to their friend or smash it over their head. It's a familiar sight to you. And although tonight you're alone, you find yourself sitting at the bar, relaxing, you can take in that energy, and you're pulled back through your time. You're pulled back to doing the same thing in rundown inns and cities that were just little towns when you first saw them. And for a moment, you kind of just feel at ease. The sense that this is probably where you belong in this exact moment. Sitting at the bar, they find you. What does Theodore Blade look like?
So what everyone sees is a very stocky silver dragonborn. His scales, while still looking magnificent and radiant, have started to gray and dull, and you can tell that if he's of age, he's gone up there in his years. He has a cowboy hat on with four holes, which his horns stick out of. or like 2 on each side. He has a duster coat on that has different bits and pieces of armor on it. A chest piece that's seen its fair shown of combat and battle and damage. On his back is a humongous great sword of almost comical length in size, but you've seen worse probably. On his lower back, what looks like to be should be a shotgun, but it's like, where's the other pieces to it? Okay, funky. And he doesn't have any shoes on. He just has greaves on. And he calls the bartender down for a drink. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, just some juice. You know, getting up there in age, still taking care of himself. But there's this sense of calmed greatness, almost as if looking at a myth.
Okay. The bartender approaches you and pulling double duty at the bar tonight. A man that you've recognized from around here time and time again. This is Zervir. He's the outpost master, tends to watch, but he likes to put himself into the middle of it. You know him to be very relaxed, kind of fluid and playful individual, but tonight, you know, as he pours your drink for you, he puts it down, you notice he's not looking at you. He's looking past you towards the door. And outside you can hear a storm kind of rumbling through, and he seems to be like checking the door, looking for something. He's got a look of mild concern on his face. Before he finally like seems to realize that he's not actually talking with you, and he looks and he goes, Theodore, I'm sorry. Anything else I can get for you?
Son, you know you can call me Theo. What's going on? And Theo like waves his hand in front of him. What's happening? Talk to me. Like, what's going on?
You know those younger kids. There's that the Warforged, the Steamborn, the Yanti, that a newer adventure party just kind of arrived here, set up by the company a little while ago. I sent them out to investigate a couple of murders, a quick contract we picked up, and they haven't come back yet.
How long did you send them out? Like, who was murdered? Tell me more, son. Like, you know, give me a little bit of something.
Yeah, and he kind of like, you watch him like pour himself a drink, but he doesn't actually drink it. Like he pours it and he kind of like swirls it and he's playing with the glass. And he's like, well, there were 3 individuals murdered throughout the town. There was a baker, Hearthwood, something like that. She's got a small bakery, and there was a bouncer at a local bar, and there was a mountain guide man that I think, yeah, he was a mountaineer guide. And they didn't really seem connected in any way, but the town guard still wanted it investigated, and the marshals were busy, and you know how the Paladin Detective Agency is, nothing without a bit of extra coin to grease those palms. So they asked us to look into it for them, and I expected them to be back at the very least by evening, and they never came back. I sent them out this morning. Even assuming it took a long time, they shouldn't have been gone this long. And now with the storm rolling in, I'm kind of worried something happened to them.
Theodore takes a drink as he's listening to, you said his name was,
Zarvin.
Tell him everything.
Zervir, sorry. I've got my names wrong.
I was like, wait a minute.
Zervir,
Yeah.
Zervir. I
A
blended.
secret name? He's the big bad. Get him!
No, I just blended 2 names in real time.
But he takes a drink, like fully downs his drink, and he pats his hand on the counter as if motioning him to just take a seat with him.
He
Tell
kind
me
of
more.
like leans against the bar because he's opposite the bar to you. Just kind of leans on his hands a little bit.
So tell me more about these murders. What was interesting about them? Like, is there any specific kind of marks, anything that stood out? And also, like, out of character, would I know these people? Would I know them?
Give me a straight D20 roll. We'll see. We'll see if you.
Roll the game.
Yeah.
You said a straight D20.
Yeah.
How do I do that on roll?
So on the left-hand side of the screen, you should see a little D20. If you click on that, it'll give you a bunch of dice you can roll, and then you can just click a D20, and it should automatically roll it for you. There we go. Yeah. So in your time, you've been familiar with the mountain here. So Evan Ridgway, it's been a family business for a long time. The Ridgways have owned this little exploration hut. It actually started with his great-grandfather, who was a miner for gold. He went looking for gold kind of in the early gold rush of Emberholm being set up a nice hut, and then the family realized they could make money taking rich people up the side of a mountain. And so they've been taking advantage of that for years. So Evan, basically, sorry. So Xavier's like, well, they were all just, like, it looked like it was basic, like, break-and-entry, failed robbery stuff, you know, things that happen around town, fairly common. As that's the details we got, as it was, the baker was murdered outside of her shop. It looked like somebody tried to take something from her, and killed her. And then the bouncer was killed in his apartment. And the mountaineer guy, he was killed also in his business, just below where his house is.
So wait a minute. One was killed in broad daylight, and
Oh no, it was at night after like they'd closed up for the night and done their stuff.
Peculiar. But there was no marks, no identification, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing mystical, as the young ones call it nowadays.
No, when the marshals investigated, they said that the only thing they really found that was of note is, realistically, the three of them are all seem like some kind of failed robbery. So they're kind of worried there's just a really bad robber out there who's prone to violence, which I would imagine the three of them would be more than capable of taking care of some hooligan who thinks a baseball bat's the simple solution to his problem. But now I'm not so sure.
It's gotta be something.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if it was just a matter of three unrelated murders, they probably would have come back earlier. And even if it wasn't, even if there's some relating term, I kind of would have expected them to stop by, at least tell me where they were going, so we could be prepared just in case. But unfortunately, I don't have that. So I don't really know what's going on. Could I ask you a favor?
Of course. Son, you never have to ask me a favor.
Well, I was wondering if I could possibly bug you to go looking for them for me, and see if maybe you can find them. I'm hoping they just got distracted by something and they're off somewhere else. But if you could find them for me, that would be ideal. And they're down a member, unfortunately. So if they have gotten themselves into a bit of trouble, I'm sure an extra set of hands wouldn't be hard for them.
He nods, and as he stands up, he's sitting down. Theodore kind of hunches over, like he makes himself seem smaller, but standing up, you can tell he's like this 7 foot, 8 foot tall. Just, and it doesn't help that he has muscle on muscle on muscle. Again, for an old guy, pretty built for whatever, like some wild reason. Could be the farmer in him. But he says to Zevron, Xavier. Ooh.
It's okay. I messed it up too
Never
early
mind.
on. I got you.
It's okay.
will
We can
butcher
just keep
everyone's
coming up
name.
with Z names
Yeah.
until we find one that sticks.
It's something
Zebra.
with his Z.
Zoologist.
Sarah.
But he looks at him and he sticks out his hand and says, "You got yourself a deal, partner. I'll go check him out. I'll go see what's going on with him and bring the as they say, the kid's home.
I
Zach is
appreciate it. He takes your hand kind of in both of his and shakes it quickly and goes, and first round when you get back's on me.
He just kind of, he waves his hand and says, don't even worry about it. It's been a while since I've been out. He rolls his shoulders and you can hear like bones and like scales cracking, almost like gearing up. You can use a little bit more exercise. You gave that to me, so I say that's payment enough.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, find out where they are and report back to me. I hopefully they're just caught somewhere.
Where did you send them off to? Where should I start at?
Well, the farthest from here would probably be the Mountaineer's hut, and seeing as I tend to think of Nyx as being somewhat of a practical individual, I would imagine that's probably the last place they went. That's probably the first place you should check.
I shall do that. You keep it
Practical
easy.
individual who comes shivering in the cold, being a cold-blooded lizard in the rain. This sucks.
Okay, you're against a tree next to a warm
Fine.
I'm against a
steamboard.
tree next to a steamboard trying to
Oh Lord, Dad is coming. Dad is on his way. Like they forgot the tent, they forgot the bags, they forgot their sleepwear.
Aren't you a silver dragonborn, meaning that you have a cold breath weapon?
So this is his habitat. He's just like a storm, cold out, good. But he, I forget what I was doing.
Sorry.
Theodore just nods at him and he starts making his way out to the door into the now like brewing up storm.
Zervir kind of like waves as you go, and he leans against the thing and goes, I probably should have told him to give them trouble while I was at it. Next time. And kind of goes back to
God.
tending to the bar.
Dang it, Theo.
Zio.
I'm making it a thing, dude. You don't understand?
Well, I mean, you are the
I
reason
lo-
that poor Taz had like 3 different nicknames of Tazzy.
Tazzy! Tazarino!
If your NPCs don't have like 5 different names, is it really an NPC we could
Are
trust?
they really your friends?
See, we have Cameron, who's Cammy Boy, Camalicious,
Trauma Cam.
Trauma
Trauma cam. Slap cam when needed.
So arriving at the hut, what you find is kind of a 2-story building. Lower story setup is a basic kind of exploration meeting space. Like this is kind of where you can tell they do like briefing stuff, and then there's an apartment upstairs. The door was left unlocked and open because none of you said you closed it, so you just kind of like abandoned this place as it was.
I've seen and didn't log it. Cool. Adding 100 guys.
And you know the lower level is smashed to bits. It looks like somebody was going through here looking for something. They were kind of like throwing things apart. There's a desk and a ledger and everything. It's been like thrown around. There's a back room that's got a bunch of gear that looks like it was normally organized, and now some of it's actually missing. Although it's hard to tell, you know, did your companions possibly take that gear? Did somebody else take that gear? It's kind of hard to say. And you know, as you're kind of looking around, getting a feel for things, you get kind of a sense that this place had been like ransacked. Somebody went through here and was specifically looking for something as they'd gone through this room.
Is there a way for me to see like what exactly was moved? I mean, I know you told me, but was there a way, like, you know how when furniture is moved, like if it hasn't been moved for a while,
Yeah.
as that, like you can tell where there's a bunch of dust and dirt here, but that spot is particularly clean.
So you
Well,
can tell like there's like some chairs and stuff that are in the space. Like it looks like it was set up like so people could like sit and have briefings and we talked like, hey, this is the hike we're gonna do. All the chairs have been overturned. Like it looks like somebody was moving through here and just kind of throwing things aside. All the drawers is kind of like a little counter space when you first come in. They're all pulled out and kind of tossed about. And then in the back room that where all the gear is normally kept, it looks like stuff's been the easiest way to tell is that the guy who owned it, Evan, was very meticulous. You could see like everything that's like still on the walls is like very clearly like it's organized, it's neat, it's tidy, and then there's just like random like in the middle of it that's missing. So it looks like somebody just kind of ran like, oh, I need rope, oh, I need this, I need that, and they kind of pulled things off of there as they were going. And so like it's a little haphazard in that regard.
I'm trying to think. Is there a way to make an insight check to see if this was a, hey, we need to hurry up and get out, like there's danger, or is it a act like, break in?
Okay, I'll give you an insight on that.
Let's see. Where's my insight?
Your eye.
There we go. Insight.
Thanks.
There we go. Our first natural 20
Ow.
of the season.
Hell yeah.
Now watch this go downhill because I know how this goes. My
Nothing
Dragonborn
above a
will
10
not
from
make
here
it.
on out. So kind of getting a glance around the room, having been an adventurer and probably done a little bit of ransacking yourself at one point of people that deserved it, of course. One of the things that you can tell the differences between somebody who's like staging a space, trying to make it look like this. You've fallen into traps before where, somebody's made it look like this is something you should be interested in. You go to grab it and all of a sudden you're falling down to a tunnel and you have to fight a bunch of skeletons. Who hasn't been there before? But you get the sense of when like a space has been staged. Your senses are really honed into that feeling of somebody who's carefully manicured the appearance of a break-in. This is not that. This is clearly somebody was like tearing things apart, actively looking for something as they went. This was somebody was taking stuff or pulling stuff open with like an intent and a like dedicated search as they were going.
Kind of moves through the space like carefully, not trying to disrupt it any more than it has been. Let's see, is there an upstairs? Like,
Yeah. So there's an upstairs apartment.
let's see, there's the upstairs and then there's the back room. Can I check out the back room, see what's going on in there?
Yeah, for sure. So in the back room, this is again that like kind of gear storage space. Basically, there is think of like an IKEA collax system along the back, and that's got like a bunch of like basic gear that people need, tents and pegs and stuff like that people could kind of. It's all neatly organized by like grouping. So there's like a group of tents, there's a group of like climbing gear, there's a group of like extra pegs and stuff, and then on top of that is like sets of like rope hung on the wall, where you can kind of see like, oh, okay, well, here's, all of it kind of neatly lined up. And then there's some like climbing harnesses above that. And then some like helmets with like really old school electric lamps on them. So they could be like turned on to like light up if they're going into a cave or something. This is where it's really meticulous, really like chaotic in the sense of like, you can tell at one point everything was like, everything has a place and everything in its place. And it was very carefully organized, and whoever was in here taking stuff literally was just like, oh yeah, I need that, oh yeah, I need that, oh yeah, I need that, and there's no rhyme or reason to how it was grabbed off the wall. So like whoever was taking the stuff was taking it like knowing they needed it, but with like zero regard for making it look like it was something that should be out of or removed properly.
Can I try the same insight? Well, no, if I already see that, not really much else in this room. So I'm gonna go head upstairs, like still just kind of keeping my eyes out to see if there's anything that the three people that Zevlor, oh my god, that Z, that
Zargon.
Zibby.
Should have given an easier name. Zervier.
Xavier. Oh god, this is gonna be fun. Just trying to keep a like eye/ear out if I hear anything that tips me off that there's someone else
Zodiac.
here.
Yeah, so as you kind of head up the stairs, you're met with like that stereotypical like long bachelor suite style apartment where it's like, oh, there's like a little kitchen sitting space, and then there's kind of like a living room space, and then there's like you go a little bit further back and there's like a space that's been set up as a bedroom, and it looks like a hurricane's gone through here. Everything is pulled apart. Somebody's like ripped open pillows kind of thing as they're going through. Couches are turned over. All the like there's like a little shelving unit behind the table that's been like pulled apart to hell. And it's a disaster. Somebody was like, this is clearly the room they were looking for something, because like downstairs they were looking. Up here you can tell it's that more of that panicked like frantic searching that they're doing at this point, where they're starting to like really rip on things. They're really starting to pull on things. They're really starting to try and like get as much stuff as they can out of it.
Can I tell if this was done recently or there's been some time? I don't know if insight can tell me that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty easy to see that it's like this is a couple days old. This was a couple days ago for sure.
So definitely wasn't the 3 that I'm looking for. Okay, cool. Can I insight like the intent or purpose of like tearing this room like up? Like, can I kind of ascertain that, or that's just like out of my abilities?
I'll give you an insight. It's going to be a little bit more complicated of a roll, but I'll give you an insight check into that. Okay, a dirty 20. There we go. I see we're slowly going down. We're working our way down to those lower numbers. Good.
Wait for the nat one, guys. It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen. My dragon will
it'll be in
never
combat.
survive.
It'll be in combat. It'll be a miserable day for him. Yeah. So as you're kind of like you're looking around the room, you're trying to get a feel for kind of how the space is and how everything kind of comes together and fits. What you're finding in this space specifically is that whatever they were looking for, it was clearly something that they thought would be hidden. Like, it's something that they definitely are thinking to themselves, like, this is something that somebody has, like, carefully taken the time to hide. It's something that they're being very protective of. Something that they're like a lot more cautious of whatever it is.
Is there any kind of footprints, any kind of like marks on the floor to say if this was human, beastly, anything of the sort?
There's a ton of footprints in. So there's humanoid footprints kind of all over the space. You see them kind of meander throughout the apartment. Some of them, are all in one spot. Some of them kind of like weave their way through. And then there's what's almost like a track kind of sometimes goes across them, the footprints, and kind of like seems like wipe the footprint away a little bit.
Right. I think Theodore.
One of the people you're looking for is a Yang T. They're snake people.
I got a tail. I got no feet. A slither.
I think Theodore will see the track and note it and start following the path, trying to see which way it goes. Like if it leaves the room some form of way. He's zeroing in on that, trying to see like where will this take me, and will it take me to the 3 I need to find?
So the easiest way that you can kind of as you kind of like wander through, like you notice it kind of like scoots through the room a little bit, kind of clears a little bit of path through the debris, and then comes back a little bit. And then there's a map on the wall that's got like hand drawn paths. So what it is, you can tell that what he was doing is he was tracing like paths he'd taken people, and there's like notes written on it, like you follow one, it's like, oh, don't go this way, bears, oh, this path, really beautiful waterfall, and it's kind of like those notes are scribbled all over it as it's gone. There's kind of 2 different lines. There's like lines that you can tell are like, these are paths I go every time, because they end in like highlighted circled places, and this is clearly a route that he takes travelers on a fairly regular basis. For some reason my camera keeps turning off.
Hey, how's that working? Hey, how's that feel? You know,
Uh,
you know what? We got a technical difficulty jar, David. That's been uncommissioned for a bit. I think it might be needing to come out again.
David's turn.
Yes.
David's turn.
David's
Yay! Everybody gets new dice.
you can
I
fight my wife
assume this
on that. But yeah, so you you know, you can kind of follow it. This path that meanders through and stops, and it's clearly like it looks like it curls up at one point, and like you can see it like studying the map and figuring things out. And as you study the map and you get kind of a look at it, you realize that like whoever left this trail was probably trying to figure out like maybe where this person went, kind of figure out where they went. So you're imagining your companions went up the mountain somewhere, probably following one of these trails. And then as you kind of like watch it meander back through, it ends up in the bathroom for a little bit, which is right near the entrance. As you kind of come up, it's just around the corner of the stairs. Following it into there, you'll notice that, you know, again, the bathroom's pretty trash, but the most notable thing is that somebody has like moved the mirror that was over top of the sink.
Someone smashed the mirror.
Oh, did you guys smash it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because you could, because you so
No,
okay, so
no,
actually what you
I moved it off. I grabbed the photo from behind it and just dropped it on the floor and let it smash.
right, so the mirror is missing.
And then get cleaned
Like
up.
there's like the clear sign of like there was a mirror here, and then there's just broken glass on the ground of a mirror. But it's not like somebody like picked it up and like threw it on the ground. It's like, even looking at it, you're like somebody just like kind of casually dropped this off to the side. And that's what you can tell from this room.
Theodore just shakes his head, and in his head, he's just like, damn young adventurers, not minding people's spaces.
The rest of the space is spotlessly clean.
Yeah, they did clean everything and then
We did
smashed it.
clean
And they were like,
everything.
"You just cleaned everything," and they were like, "Oh right," and they started cleaning it again.
He's just seeing the mirror, and he's just shaking his head. He's just like, where does the trail lead from there? Like from the bathroom, or is that where it ends?
Back down the stairs, basically.
Okay. Does it lead outside anywhere, or?
Once you get to the bottom of the stairs, it's a little bit harder to tell. Like maybe outside, but it's been raining, so it's really kind of hard to tell. Like what the actual level of squish is here.
Level of squish.
How long has it been raining? Because this is probably where a ranger would be handy, because I don't know if I could ascertain this. Could I tell if they were on horseback, if they were on foot, or, you know,
They're probably
belly?
on foot. There's no signs of horses around here.
Okay. Can I tell which direction they went, or
Yeah.
is it like too muddy?
Nope. So like basically like right behind the space, you can see kind of a trail that leads out back behind the cabin, and then it's basically like there's the mountain trails.
All right. Knowing what I know, and also going into the mountains, he takes off what should be a shotgun from his back. He reaches into his various pouches and starts reforming the shotgun. Like he starts putting pieces together and racks it. And he says, well, let's go see if these kids are doing all right.
As you kind of follow the path, it becomes the hard part about heavy rain is it typically tends to wash away a lot of easy paths, you know, so footprints kind of get lost in the mud unless they're really deep and they're really heavy, which, lucky for you, two of the individuals you tracking are relatively heavy, and that in of itself would have been like, oh, there's some pretty deep footprints, and they're kind of faded, but like these should be the only footprints. You're kind of following them. And that's when you notice, like, pretty distinctly between the two of them is that same kind of, like, slithered out trail that kind of, like, sloshes between the pair. And you kind of follow that for a little bit, and it, you know, takes you one way, and you're meandering along, and you stop, and start to kind of meander a different way a little bit, and you're kind of like looking, and you're like, this feels like somebody's like looking at a map, stopping at one point, turning in a different direction, and then like kind of squelching off in that general direction. It takes you a bit. The rain slows, and that makes tracking this path a little bit easier, and it kind of comes to an end, and the storms subsided and moved off the mountain, kind of passed off into the distance. The sun's starting to slowly peek out from behind the mountains, and anyone who's spent time in the mountains knows that it takes a little bit longer to come up when you're in this space. So it feels like it's creeping up slower and slower, but you're starting to feel that it's becoming closer and closer to daylight. And
Had too many frosted flakes.
the the thing that you, as you kind of like following this path, the thing that really sets you aside in the noticing is the very clear impact sign from the slithering thing that looks like it kind of like just splatted down into the mud at one point, lost their grip or whatever, and kept going, and then the carries on, and then you start to smell like the smell of a campfire that's been during the rain, and that kind of mixing of the rain smell and the hot wood and everything combined into this scent, and you're like, there's those whippersnappers. And you start to kind of like make it easier as you go. Turning back to our group of adventurers who've spent the night trying to relax, who ended the night on watch again? Do we remember? I think it was Alice.
It was Alice.
Believe it was Alice, yeah.
Okay. So Alice, you're a steamborn. You don't require a lot of sleep, so you took last watch, kind of took care of things, rebuilt up your steam, and got your engine going. You're starting to really like get the move of things and walking around through your guys' improvised campsite, and you're starting to tidy things up and clean them up and get them ready for something. I'm gonna get you to go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wish it was the advantage, don't you?
A little. Hey, that's not bad for
not a bad-
having a 0
That's not.
as a modifier.
It's also a pretty easy DC check. So, you hear the distinctive sounds of heavy footsteps in somewhat drying mud. That of somebody who's like walking along, and you're kind of like listening for a second, and as you kind of like turn around, you can hear them getting closer and closer and closer to you, and that's when you see somebody that you've kind of seen sitting around the adventure company inn from time to time, kind of round around the little bend leading up towards your guys's section, and then there's Theodore Blade, your tall dragonborn friend, or soon-to-be friend, you probably hope, comes around the corner, and the two of you are now standing not face to face, but you're now looking at one another.
But would Alice actually know his name? Or
You
just
might
know
you might not know him. You would definitely you would know him to see him, but you probably might not know his name. No.
So she, as soon she probably would have pulled a revolver, not knowing who's coming up the trail.
Yeah.
Look, another dollar in the jar. How's that feel?
Oh, did I disappear again? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
restart my camera super quick. I think that's the
Yeah.
problem. Keep
I
going.
think
But as soon as she sees who it actually is, she would have lowered it and been like, "Hello, friend."
Theodore tips his hat. Now, howdy. Now, are you one of the people I'm supposed to be finding? What's your name and who are you? Before I trip up over myself, what's your pronouns? Like, I don't want to mean to offend anyone today.
Well, my original call was 4L1C3, but I just go by Alice for everyone's convenience.
Alice, that's a nice name.
I do not know of these pronouns you speak of.
So, he, she, they, like, how should I would you prefer me just to call you Alice? Like if I speak to you or mention you?
Yes, Alice is um, preferred.
And would you prefer she, he, they, she, her, he, him, they, them? What combination of pronouns? Like, where would you like me to go?
Alice kind of looks down. It's like, well, I have been told I appear more feminine. So she, they? Yes, she, they.
All right, then, darling. So, where's your other compatriots? I've been tasked to find you and your friends. Are they okay? Are you all okay? Did y'all camp out here during the storm?
We did. It was a little wet, but we managed. I was able to keep, and then she kind of points to where
Nyx is just like
Nyx is
head down, curled up by the fur.
curled.
Like, this fucking sucks. Everybody else is metal, so they don't care. There's things like, oh my god.
I was
what,
able
over here?
to warm Nyx before he fell asleep.
Theodore just kind of looks at the three. Does he? Would Theodore know about Warforges? Like, I feel like he would know about Yantis, but Warforges, would he?
Yeah, so Warforges are rarer. They're definitely not as common. It depends. How far has he traveled? You know, has he left the continent? Has he traveled to other places? How well traveled is he?
He is well traveled. It's the joke that his friends make is that he has family in different area codes, if you catch my drift. He loves them
So
all.
like Tazzy.
He loves them all. Like, he loves them all. They all are in contact with each other, and they're all in contact with him. He's just been around in more ways than one.
I love Theodore. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Theodore's gonna have to be a reoccurring character. I'm here
Yep.
for him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there are. Oh man, I don't know how much I want to give away because some of this is like juicy side gossip.
Could I do like a inside
An
What is it?
arcana, perhaps?
I ain't got no arcana there.
Damn right.
It's actually gonna be a history check.
I ain't got no history either. We gonna see where this
You
goes.
got
That's
this.
not
You
bad.
got this. You
That's
got
not
this.
bad.
That thing's not
That's
bad.
not bad.
You've heard stories of Warforged, so they're definitely more common on the other continent, on you know, where the Triso Kingdom is. They pop up from time to time, show up for a while, and then they kind of just meander off on their own. So you're familiar with Warforged enough. They're kind of like in the back of your mind, like, oh yeah, Warforged. But Steamborn definitely more recently or something that you've become acquainted with, which is what Alice is, who's talking to you, being as they're effectively machines given souls, and very much a segment of the modern evolution of things.
Does this unit have a soul? Oh, maybe people cry from that statement.
That's a Legion activation. code.
Legion.
Oh,
My
Legion,
beloved.
the bestest boy.
So I see the Steamborn, the Warforged, and the Yanti, who's clearly going through it.
Yeah.
Not having a good time.
And
No.
I look back to Alice and I say, "So, let's get your friend, like, some help. Let's get them situated while you tell me everything that has happened and what you have found, because it seems like we have some murders to solve."
Indeed. In fact, were we? Sorry, above board for a second.
Mhm.
Oh, weren't we going to where we thought the
Murderers
guys
were.
were.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
We were tracking the bad guys.
Allow me to clear that up.
Nyx is like, oh no, they're awake.
In fact,
And,
we were going to comprehend the murderers, and then the storm hit, and it got dark.
Comprehend the murderers?
He's still learning common, okay?
She's working on it. I know someone else who is bad at common.
Do I hear this too? Like, do I hear like Alice like speaking, but it's definitely like, yo, that's not their first language.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's like, yeah, definitely you would understand that, like, oh yeah, learning to speak is still something that's like coming to them.
Now, ma'am, as I'm walking towards the Yanti and pulling out like my camping supplies, I'm pretty sure I have something. I know I got something.
Can get a fire started. Or Nyx.
Nyx is just gonna wake up and be like, what's going on? What's happening? Like, there's just like all this noise and they're just like,
I got travelers. I got a shovel, an iron pot, and carpenter's tools. Oh, I got a
shovel.
explorer's
That's
pack.
very Nyx.
Yes.
I have an explorer's pack, so you know, I imagine like there's probably like something in there to create a fire, or something, or at least something to help like warm up this very, very depressing looking being.
Yeah.
Who is it covered in mud from trying to help the steamborn trying to get up the mountain, and the steamborn fell and dragged him down with her.
Oh, and because I got an iron pot too, on the side of it, I'm going to put the iron pot, and I imagine I have some tea, like some little cups, some water. It's like morning tea, basically. Like, so let's catch up. Let's introduce ourselves.
But you have caught up. But you have caught up.
Nyx is just gonna open the eyes and just see you and go, oh no.
Darling, how long have you been, like,
He sent you.
how long have you been alive?
Me?
Yes.
4 years?
Okay.
4.
She's a child.
Time is weird.
She's pretty smart though.
That's okay. Time is weird. You will find your way through it. You two, and he points to the auntie and the Warforged. What are your names and pronouns? What would you prefer to be called? This is also me asking as the player, what y'all look like?
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah. Describe Alice.
All right. So Alice is about 5'5", like a copper steamborn, but her joints, like her elbows, like knuckles, stuff like that, is all black. She's wearing a set of like black pants with a skirt that's kind of shorter, just above the knee, and then longer in the back, and then like a white off the shoulder top that's, I guess, kind of goes more towards like shows off her midriff. And I don't think she's wearing shoes at the moment, just 'cause she doesn't see the point of them.
Oh boy. Standing near the back of the camp, kind of opposite of the campfire from you, is about a 5'3", silver and bright, kind of polished chrome and tungsten being. The larger outer plates of the body are that fine silver, the edges of which are inscribed with runes and different magical writings that you can't quite discern what the origin is. She's built fairly feminine, curvy, wider hips, shoulders, a fairly decent sized bust. And she's wearing like a blue mage's robe sort of deal, high collar, circular, form-fitting, but no sleeves. And at the legs, it turns into kind of what's the thing, like a single cloth kind of in the middle and back, it like, so the legs are out.
Well, yeah.
Like a onesie?
No.
No,
Like the
David.
cloth.
robe.
No,
Style-wise.
style-wise, like the cloth goes like it goes from like a tunic sort of top down into like a single piece of
Anyone
cloth that kind of
play
hangs
Street
in between the
Fighter?
middle.
Like the girl.
Yeah, like a
from Street
Chun-Li
Fighter.
sort
Yeah.
of cut silver accents on the clothing, and there is a collection of like rope and metal coil and braid that's braided into kind of that tight Viking braid on the top, simulating hair.
Mhm.
Unlike other Warforged or even Alice's Steamborn, this Warforged has ears that are decorated with piercings. They're not flesh, they're metal, and they're decorated with other gemstones and metal rings. And the faceplate is actually just a completely polished flat sheet of metal that is polished to the point where you can see your own reflection in it. And that's what she is.
So, Nyx is probably the last one. Nyx is, well, right now, just like sits up and like dusts himself off from like the dirt and the mud that has rained on him. And it just, Nyx is 6'7". He is a cobra-like being with a long tail and everything. So when he stands up to his full height, he can stand taller, but he usually stays at 6'7". He can hunch down smaller too. He has silver eyes, but he's wearing like a trench coat, very much like your character, a cowboy hat on top of it, and he has holsters on 2 sides of him. He's covered in scars, like he has scars all over his scales and everything. And I don't know if your character, because you do have a long history, Nyx has this weird magical black collar around his neck. He has that collar around his neck. Don't know if you would know that. So, and he looks fucking miserable. Like he is a cold-blooded creature, and they just got stuck in the rain and was stuck with 2 robots who were just like, we will warm you up, and they're like, they are hard metal. They tried their best. But he looks like he just sits up and he just goes, I need a drink, like now. Like heavy whiskey. Like he looks like, and I will say this because it became a thing, a very disheveled detective. Hey Teagan, you want to tell them what he looks like?
Columbo!
Columbo. He looks like an old detective who's too old for this shit.
Not
And
showing my age.
And as he's looking at all 3 of them, he sees the young man just miserable as all get out. He moves the fire a little closer to them, like just kind of just.
I wouldn't worry too much. Most serpentine just need sun to warm up and are accustomed to long, cold nights.
I was dragged through mud. Future me.
You did simply what you needed.
I swear to God.
Ma'am, as another serpent-like being, while I may be okay with the cold, I prefer to be warm. I think they need some more than a little bit of sunlight. And at that point, you probably hear the tea kettle like going off. It's like, like it's ready.
A warm bath can
easily,
help
like-
raise a serpentine's body temperature.
Me, no. Nyx is like, no, that's boiling. That's
Hearing the whistle, Alice does her own. She thinks she's communicating with the kettle.
oh no.
There is
Gives
a
a
look.
whistle.
There's a look of concern on Theodore's face as he.
Nyx is just gonna look at Theodore, look at them, and be like,
You see what I'm working with?
Oh, so she was just born 4 years ago.
Uh.
Ma'am, miss, do you prefer to go by ma'am, miss? What pronouns?
She is the proper designation.
Ma'am, how long have you been alive?
This unit has been active for approximately 4 months.
And
Nyx is just going to stare directly at Theodore. These have been the parties that he's been traveling for those said 4 months, pretty much. It just looks directly at him and be like, welcome.
Theodore,
Just pulls out a flask. You're gonna need this.
he
I do promise. This unit does have quite a large databank,
Me
And
is
it's not-
very smart.
hindered by the limited activation time.
Me is very smart. Me is also. You gotta get used to it, buddy.
that is quite all right. I have my fair share of grandchildren and great grandchildren and the like. Whew, okay, cool. All right.
I
You
guess-
take this pot and you drink that slow. And everyone here, tell me what you have found, what you have learned, and where are we going next?
To a cave, of course.
Me, do you want to
The
get the
answer
full
is simple.
description?
Yes, providing
Alright.
full description.
It's gonna be a while. You're gonna want to sit down.
Get comfortable.
Get comfortable.
And
Might
as,
have
Not
he,
a cigar.
from your own tea.
and as he's like listening to the description,
Hmm.
and I also like, because of my age, because it was brought up, would I be able to recognize any kind of like weird symbols between Mia and Nyx? Like the different, like between the black sash, I think you said, and the arcane symbols on them. Like, would those look any kind of familiar to me?
Sort of. It's old magic, whatever it is. It's like you could easily tell that it was old magic that caused it. But with Warforged, it's kind of hard to tell because if it's just a unit that's been in deactivation state for a long period of time, or if it's somebody managed to scribble the right runes down to possibly create another one. It's kind of hard for you to tell. They're definitely not something you'd recognize easily, though.
Not with a history check, probably, and not with my history. Nope, not even gonna try, not touching that.
I promise you, my design is intentional.
He kind of looks at her up and down, and he's like, right, you're gonna give a poor fool a heart attack looking like that, but just
Oh, pardon. Do I cause unrest?
unrest with me? No, trust me, no, ma'am, trust me. I
And
see
Nyx
my
just looks
fair.
at him, just like, dude, you just got here.
I can change.
Let me make myself abundantly clear. I am not in the business of procreating anymore. I those days are behind me. Now, what my children do are well beyond me. I cannot
Nyx
stop
is like,
them.
stop. I haven't given them the talk. Wait.
Oh, son, how old are you again, son? What?
How old is next week? He hasn't given the others the talk. Like, he's like, please.
How long
Nyx
have you
is-
been alive?
Nyx is 28.
Oh.
He's the oldest here. He became the father of the group, but also like, I am still a child.
And have you had to talk yet, or?
I am fully aware of sexual intercourse. I do not need an explanation.
Me, it's not you that I'm worried about.
I was just gonna tilt her head like,
We're gonna
Organic
skip-
beings need to recreate.
So, let's back on track. Back on track. This is a
like
conversation.
Nyx is just like, I'm
This is
doing
a-
the flask like I'm almost out. Just like,
This is a conversation. You don't need that right now. Trust, believe. That's going to be a bad habit. It will cause a lot of problems. I can give you stories and lessons on that another time. Let's get back to finding these murderers. You said a cave.
Right.
Yes.
Where's this cave?
Yes. We started by investigating the baker's suite. Upon locating, or rather not locating, the body, we started to connect the pieces on the fact that there was an object missing. Not money or anything that would have been flagged for investigation, but a different object entirely.
What was the object?
We are unsure. The mountain guide and Mr. Fletcher are mountaineers. They have come up the mountain and had gone on an exploration. I believe that they have found something and came back different.
Different how? Now, I'll let you know, I'm not that fluent in the magical know-how, the mystical realm, as y'all youngins call it. But change how? Did they meet some unsavory folk? I tell people all the time, don't talk to beings from another realm that you don't know anything about, because then you stuck in a 20, 30, 100,000 year contract and your babies are under somebody's influence.
We are unsure. Unfortunately, we have not an idea what the object might have been, but whatever it was sought after and led to their demise. We are following to the cave now to try and locate these objects or the culprits.
Well, once your friend here is up and, warm enough to move, I say we go and we try to talk to him first. Let me tell you how we do it around here. Let me tell you how we do it when I was grown. We try to talk to folks first. If they don't want to listen, we try to talk to them some more. If they start blasting, we blast.
I do prefer
I
talking
understand.
over blasting.
We are not the
It's
local
just
law
like-
enforcement.
No, certainly are not. Let's just be glad the Paladin Force is not here. So, who is the leader of this ragtag gaggle of muffins here?
I think Allison's immediately going to point to Nyx.
This is like, don't you dare call me what you're about to call me.
She does it
Nyx
anyway.
is our primary detective.
Oh dear God. This is just like head down, like it's just like packing up his shit again, like his sleeping roll and everything is just packing it up, putting it in his bag, like this.
This being
Okay.
stated, I have found 99.9% of all evidence.
You also baked cinnamon buns and burned them me.
Unclear record. Please repeat.
Look, I found the murder weapon in a barrel. We head back up, and the knife clearly came from the bakery itself, so it seemed like the baker had the weapon on top of them, and someone overpowered them and killed them with their own knife and disposed of the knife. During that, we went to the bodyguards where we found this journal, and he's holding the journal. He goes, and it shows markers up the mountain to a place that they just found. Now, the strange thing is, it seems like the bodyguard and the baker knew each other, talked recently, usually got things. My guess, the bodyguard found something up in the mountains, brought it to the baker saw it, kept it, maybe gave it as a gift, was killed because of it. Because of that, he had info on where this came from. They decided to go to the mountaineer who he was friends with, and they both found this info. We found this photo with coordinates on it, so we are heading to those coordinates, hoping that we will catch whoever did this in the act. If not, we can find out what they were after or what they found, hopefully lowering the ability on who did this.
Remember, the baker didn't go up the mountain, but a possible family member did.
Yes, the bakers did know the mountaineer as well. Thank you, Alice. That's correct.
Of course.
So the baker did know the mountaineer as well. Gave them bakery gifts at their shop as a thank you for letting their cousin go up the mountain. My guess, they all knew each other. Probably told something about the baker that they found up the mountain. Sadly, getting her killed.
And here I thought it was a lover's quarrel.
No, I'm pretty sure the bodyguard and the mountaineer were a couple.
It's still sad. Young lives lost over probably some nonsense, something that's not just young lives lost. So then, Are you?
They are not
warmed up?
lost. They are simply different.
You keep using that word different.
You get used to it. Nick says as he walks and starts walking up the hill. You get used to it. That's me. Me is very smart.
I'm gonna need you to explain the word different. And hold on, young whippersnapper. Where are you going? Like, are we leaving now? Like, would you like to walk and talk?
Well, it's better if we walk and
Yes.
talk. We don't know if they're already done and making their way down. Either way, they can find a way out. So we better make there as soon as possible. Can you
Okay,
keep
we
up,
make
old
it to the
man?
cave.
Old man.
As he slithers.
As he sees Nyx slivers, I don't know if Nyx sees Theodore.
Oh yeah, he's seen Theodore. Just Nyx's background. Nyx's assassin. I'm sorry.
So he just has this wide, toothy smile, and his canines are. You can tell that this is an old dragonborn because his teeth don't look fresh and new. They've seen some things. They have bit into some things. They are hardened. And as he stands up, you see his body, again, massive dude, bulging, but it's almost like his body gear shifts once more. And it's like, again, this sense of power. And he's like, young man, can you keep up with me? I definitely know that you probably have keeping up with other folks in various manners, seeing as you're easily confused by your compatriots and shell-shocked by one of them. But you don't got to worry about me. You
I
lead on,
travel
though.
with a 4-month-old and a 7-month-old, a 4-year-old.
It's okay.
Hey,
It's
hey,
okay. You know, he walks up to Nyx and he just pats his shoulder. Lead
Please
on,
don't touch
son.
me.
Lead on.
It's just like, he sent you, didn't he?
Ooh.
You know
Your direction
who.
is incorrect. It's this way.
You sure she's not supposed to be the leader besides you? You seem to be.
I'm following the journal. She has a built-in GPS or something.
So who lead it? Like,
I have
just,
full topographical information of this mountain.
so let's decide now. Let's decide now. Y'all are a group. Decide now who is your leader.
Well, we're kind of missing someone.
Well, you kind of got to do these things eventually, even if you're missing someone. Because without a designated leader, everybody kind of just lost. They all kind of just look. And then right now, y'all looking like chickens with their heads halfway cut off. You're looking like you don't know which way is south and which way is north, and the barn door is right in front of you.
North is that way.
What does directions have to do with a barn?
The main thing is, who would you like to lead? Would you like this young man or this lady to lead? Who's your leader?
I will be in lead.
Me has the best geographer. They're the best at scoping out what we need to do. They've done it in multiple missions. So knowledge-wise, they're the best to go forward.
Okay, that settles it then. So, Miss Mia, you will lead on, and we will follow behind you. And I would love to learn more about you, folk. As much as of a gaggle you all are, tell me more about yourselves. Like, where are you from? What you've done? Like, you say you've been together for how long?
Around 4 months.
Oh, you must got quite some tales for 4 months together. Like, tell me about yourselves. As we walk and talk, like as we go.
I think Nyx at this point would just look at me and just go, "Me, why don't you tell him about yourself?" And just continue walking.
Simple.
My insight check that. My insight. Did I see that they're trying to dodge this?
Nyx is 100% dodging this question.
Let me just. That's a 15. We can work with that.
It's pretty straightforward, you know.
Now,
They don't want to answer that question.
Now, son, you know it's nice to share. You don't got to share everything, but at least you gotta entertain an old man for a little while. Like, we got a long path ahead of us. Like, it'll just entertain.
I have a lute. Like,
Perfect. Like, Nyx is like, please, for the love of God. Like, Nyx wants none of this conversation. He's like, why is this happening?
That is the single most 4-year-old thing that so far Alice has done in this entire conversation.
Oh my God,
just out of
that is-
nowhere, I have a lute. Like, it's
is-
straight up a child thing. Like, I have a guitar, and you're like, I didn't ask, but thank you.
It's like you ask your child, hey, do this thing. They go off, they go towards the direction of the thing, but they decide to pick up something else. And it's like,
Oh, you mean anyone with ADHD?
Yeah, I think Nyx is just pulling out a cigar and lighting it as they walk.
ooh, that's terrible for your health, young man. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but that's
Statistically,
I love Theodore.
Nyx is more likely to
so
die by
much.
stray gunfire than cigarette.
Now you may be right.
Theodore is my favorite crab.
At the same time, those don't make you smell good, and they're not. It's just not a good look. Some people find that attractive, but majority don't. It's
The smoke doesn't bother us anyway.
it's not for you all. It's not. It's not about you all. It's about.
I
for
actually
them,
don't
for their
enjoy
benefit.
it.
With that, you guys begin your slog up the side of the mountain.
Oh my god, I'm
Um,
crying. I'm sorry.
It's a slow climb, as you get started. The mud has started to dry, which is both a blessing and a curse. As you move along, it's less slippery, but it's also far more sticky to every single thing that you move. It's not worse than yesterday, but your day is definitely not going to be ruined because of it. But it does take you to about midday to finally reach the point on the map, with I'm sure a lot of stories told. But we'll get to that after break, because we're going to take a quick little 5 to 10 minute
Oh,
break
yeah.
here, give ourselves a chance to stretch and get our Willy Siggles. Oh my god, I'm just going to.
Our Willy Siggle.
Really single.
Our Willy
I was just trying to
Seagulls.
say
Okay.
Wiggles and
Silly
Sillies
Wiggles?
out.
Wiggles and sillies.
Wiggle,
Same
wiggle, wiggle.
Sillies and
I think
Sillies.
David needs a breather, guys. I
Nah.
think we
Willy
killed
Siggles.
him.
For
I'm gonna
him,
take a
not us.
shot of tequila and
We got whiskey and
Redeem bits
tequila.
for Willy Siggles.
Willy Seagulls.
we're gonna take a quick break here. We'll be right back in about 5-10 minutes. Give ourselves a chance to stretch, use the bathroom, refill our water, because I have no doubt that some of our lovely people have acquired enough bits to start making us drink more water.
I'm out.
Until then, we will see you all shortly. Hello, everyone. I don't know, I'm bobbing. I've just got this like
return.
energy about me today.
Oh, you got the
Lizzie says hydrate.
the Willy Siggles.
The Willy Siggles.
The Willy Siggles?
Mad case of the Willy Siggles tonight.
Hydrate. We had a hydrate redeemed from Lizzie before we went on break.
Ah.
What is in here, we will not discuss.
As long as it hydrates you.
We can always just give you some of this.
I'm
Just-
good.
Yeah.
No,
We
we,
know what
actually
that
can't
is.
ship that across the border.
No.
It's
No,
it's
we cannot.
illegal. And
We know
probably-
what that is. We're not touching that. I love life. I love life.
I feel like more
Right?
is missing than
Blackwell-
should be.
Blackwell witnessed an entire transit police officer just light in flames and jump out the train because of that drink.
2 times have I seen people, both Neon and Logomancy, take a shot at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And James, just no, I'm good. I love life, right? Like if you had asked younger me like 10 years ago, sure. Older me's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Nothing wrong with it.
It's perfectly fine.
Listen, I like spicy, but not like that. Like
tried to convince my dad to drink some this weekend.
Oh my
How'd that
How'd that
god.
go?
He opened it, he went, and I was like, oh, that was your first mistake. And he's like, what is this?
No, that was a smart decision. Because if it burns indefinitely when you smell it, oh no, we put that away. Because then even if I do get it, I gotta make sure that it's in a box inside of a box inside of a box with a lock on it. Because if the gremlin gets a hold of it,
Oh, the screaming.
just no, absolutely not. I could just already envision it. And I'm the one that's home with him.
Did you make it into an emoji?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
We've
I
got
did
good
make it
emojis.
into
We've got the spice. We've got donut. You're on here as an emoji.
Oh, that's
I'm on
right. I
here
have
as
an emoji.
Yeah, I made you an
Bop, bop,
emoji.
And the
We got the-
Crocs.
The Crocs. And oh, he made me into an emoji. He didn't tell me that. Now I'm an emoji too, guys.
You are now immortalized. You can never see. You can never not.
I'm a Twitch emoji. Look, mom, I made it.
Okay. Well, we left for the break. You just come across the cave entrance. What you see is a kind of a rough little like clearing spot. It looks to be fairly natural to the way it's set up, where the trees kind of part along the side of the mountain, and there is a small cave entrance that you can see there. It's gonna be a tight squeeze to go through. Is immediately your first thing, but it matches the drawing in the journal that you saw.
Wonderful.
Alright. Can I do an investigation just to see if there's newer tracks? there.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
While they're doing that, can I see like how is the cave mouth set up? Is it like we can stand side by side to each other, or is it like has to be straight line?
You could stand side by side. It's not going to be a comfortable experience for anyone.
14?
Okay, with the 14 kind of around the cave entrance, it's trampled, like people do come through here kind of thing. But it looks kind of like weakly trampled. People don't regularly use this space. There's no real like noticeable signs of like footprints or anything that really like draws your eye though.
Alright.
So,
Oh, damn it.
who wants to take charge? Like this is take this as a learning experience. You're going to an ominous cave, narrow space. Who wants to be in front? Who wants to take the lead?
Should I go
can
and
go first.
sneak in and do some scouting and then come back and see if I can find them? Would that be easier for you guys?
I don't know. Would it be easier?
Just Nyx looks at him just like no. Just like we are not in kinder, and then just looks over at Alice and be like,
the question still stands. Would that be easier? Does anyone else have any other plan?
How big is this cave? You said like a medium-sized creature will have to enter like one by one to get in.
Like, you
Yeah,
could go side by side. It's
I am
like
a medium.
Okay.
9.5 feet across, let's say. Like
Okay.
it's not going to be a comfortable walk side by side, but you could make it happen.
But I also have dark vision, so I can go in without letting anyone know I'm there
Let me.
and come back out.
What's the height
me.
of the cave?
It's roughly 5 feet tall, so like you're gonna have to stoop, like
Oh.
5.5, 6 feet, kind of like it's not like super tall. Like you're gonna be kind of like doing the like stoop through.
Yeah.
I can slither.
The
Like-
8-foot
like an-
dragonborn.
Like an adult walking through a children's like play park. Like you're like, oh, like you watch them run through and it feels like a big cave to them. You go to like, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna have to like hunch down and kind of saunter like a monster through here.
Because I could sneak in, sneak back out, and then let you guys know. Because I have a +9 on stealth, so I think I can get in and get out without being seen.
I believe I can come with you.
You can't see in the dark, can you?
Not currently, but I can fix that.
How about you stay here, buddy, and I will come get you first.
You know, I like the plan where 2 of us stay and 2 of us go. Like, it's always good to have a backup, like
Safety
like
in
a battle
numbers.
buddy.
I
Yeah.
don't. I'm
You
just looking. I just look at the
someone
giant
who needs
robot.
A friend. You look like you need a friend. You're not,
not
used to
giant.
People.
Oh no, sorry. I'm just thinking the robot. Like I'm just like looking at the shiny
Future me
robot
is
that's like,
5'2".
yeah. I love how
Even
it's future
even
me.
Allison's that tall.
I know you guys are so tiny to him.
Like compared to Nyx and Theodore, it's like children, tiny, cool.
Well, Nyx also like wants to protect these two. He might act like he's like, oh dear God, but he's like, I have assigned myself to these. I will protect them with my life.
Hmm.
All right, so
2 by 2.
how's your out of character?
Hurrah?
How's your stealth? Yeah, because I'm wondering if I should just roll for both of us.
I wouldn't be worried about that.
Out of character, above board.
Out of character, I wouldn't be worried about that.
Okay, all right, you got good stealth. All right, good. I was just double checking. I was like, no, Neon, I appreciate the character, but at the same time, I don't want us to walk in like one time where we walk in and then it's just we're surrounded and go, fuck. All right, so
Pardon, I just need to do a little preparation. And future me will extend one of her arms out, and I think that this is the first time, especially Theo, you're seeing it, and you're like looking and you watch and you notice that like her arms are unnaturally long and out of proportion to the rest of the body. Not like so much so that like it's gonna be like, oh, that's weird immediately, but like when you take a second to look, it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's not right. And she'll reach with one hand to the forearm of the other, and she pulls at a little tab or a little piece of metal, and scroll just starts to unravel from the arm. And it is inscribed with lots of different magical writings and sigils and what you would assume is a spell book of some sort. Everything about everything that future me is reads as wizard. Right. And she lets it go and it slides back into the arm.
all thing is like the old things where you do it, it goes.
No. It snaps back in really easy. No
Just like
loose springs. It is well made. And she starts to draw like these large circles in the air and repeat incantations, and nothing is happening. There's no sigils lighting up, there's no magical trail. And then she walks over to Nyx, puts a hand on like the top of your cowboy hat, and she just, and now there's a tiny spider on top of your cowboy hat. As I am going to wild shape into a spider.
Nyx looks up and goes, "Did you have to choose that?"
Yes.
Go on my face, we're gonna have a problem. You got that, me? Like, just whispering this to you, like, me, I swear to God, please.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Theodore's just clapping, and he's like, "That was some fancy trick right there, ma'am. Like, good thinking. Like, you're working as a team now. Good job.
Pardon for the delay. We are still adjusting.
That's okay. You're doing good. You're doing perfect. Doing great.
Just
Hello,
stay on
Hampod.
the-
Hello, Raid.
Hello, Raid.
Hello, Raid. Yeah, just look at them and be like, just don't move from my hat.
Understood.
Okay. Like, no one knows this, but now me. Nyx is terrified of spiders. It's just like, fuck. Okay. There's a spider on my hat. It is me. It is a spider on the hat. It is me. It's not a real spider. It's going to be okay.
It's like, can we insight that to be like, we see that that's going on. Is that just like plain as day?
Oh,
But,
like
Nyx
it's
is trying to keep it together like stone face,
like
but
you know when
inside it's
somebody's
just
like,
ah!
like you. Have you guys ever been to a high dive board? Like, have you ever climbed up to the high dive board to, like, jump off? You know that one kid that's, like, absolutely terrified of heights, but does not want to be caught being terrified of heights? And they're like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna jump off the high jump. Yep, it's gonna happen any second now. It's that energy that you're getting from Nyx right now.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I am avicularia, which is a common pink-toed tarantula. I am harmless.
Great! Nyx hears tarantula and he goes, fantastic! He's like a little shaking a little bit. He's like, alright, I am going to sneak in there and get info. I swear to God, if you get really close to my face, me, I will crunch you.
Please do not crunch me. I will become a giant robot again.
Okay. And just like, he's like, okay, and he's gonna slither into the cave. I'll roll for stealth.
Yep, roll me stealth.
I don't know why I rolled it. Oh, 16.
16k. So we are playing.
Oh.
This is one of those 2024 moments.
Okay.
We are playing with the new 2024 rules for stealth, which means what you now have is the invisible condition. So, as long as you don't attack or do anything to draw attention, you are considered effectively invisible. And now I'm gonna make a note of that. For those playing the home game, how it now works as the Dungeon Master is I get to keep that number, and if I'm looking for them, that's now the number I have to beat. Becomes the DC.
It's also a 2024 rule for the Druid Wild Shape to be able to talk.
Yeah.
Um,
So we're
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God.
Because
That works.
this is a cool fact about Yanti. They can talk to animals. Only snakes.
Only snakes.
Only snakes. That's
animal.
what it says in the profile. It says talks to animals in parentheses. Only snakes. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense actually.
What's
Alright.
Like, it should have been reptiles. Like, all reptiles, at least.
no.
No,
Snakes are
okay.
different. A reptile, like a lizard and a snake, do not talk.
Yep.
So I guess we sneak in and we're just being sneaky snakes.
Okay.
I have
so
30 feet dark vision with the spider.
Okay, good.
The space that you're gonna go down is very narrow. It's a very, kind of as you go, it winds and weaves back on itself. It's very much one of those things where you're like, oh, it's a good thing we didn't all come because like this would not have been comfortable. to like walk side by side as you kind of go down. The walls are kind of like, as you get further down, it's like almost slick. Like there's like moisture and condensation that have built up on there, and there's kind of a coolness that settles in. It smells kind of dank. Like there's probably water sitting somewhere that's been pooling for a while, and you can hear the what of like dripping somewhere down below as you kind of like slowly navigate your way through. There's nothing really impede you. There's no real signs of heavy traffic as you go, but just that like as you get lower and lower and lower through this cave entrance, first it gets colder and colder and colder, and then as you kind of hit a point, it starts to like warm back up again. Like there's almost like a heat somewhere within the cave itself as you go, and you find yourself after about a 5-minute kind of like sneak through. You find yourself in a very large cavern. It's naturally occurring. There's kind of this like big open space where it looks like at some point something had pooled in here and pushed everything out. And now you've got this big open empty cavern, little uneven floors. And as you kind of like look around, there's kind of like 3 ways that it branches off. There is a space to your left. There is not quite center. It's like center left-ish. If you know center's north for you, it'd be like a northwestern direction. And then there's off to your far right, there's another kind of like entrance way that you can see that kind of weaves down from there. And they all kind of disappear off into their own little spaces. That's where you find yourself first.
All right. Is there any way that we can check for any footsteps or anywhere that someone may have gone?
You can give me an investigation check. It's going to be difficult, especially because you can't see anything in color and details.
I would like to assist.
Please do, because I have a +2.
Allow me to investigate.
You investigate me. Like this is just like better stay on my hat. I swear to God.
I guess I will either provide. Actually, my investigation is also a 2.
Okay, so.
You want to just take advantage?
I'm down to. I'm bound to have a good roll.
For the sake of character, I am staying on your hat out of eyeline. So for you, it's just a voice.
All right. 17.
Okay. With a 17, as you're looking about trying to find investigation, you can tell that there's footsteps, but they're smaller footsteps. So somebody has walked around a couple times. They've moved around a little bit. It's that kind of space that's kind of come along. And it's like almost like children have been like running around in here. If you were to guess from the size of the feet, they're not big individuals that would have been moving through here, but it's really hard to tell the when they came through.
So, me got any ideas?
They went that way.
Me, there's multiple footsteps going multiple ways.
Yes.
Oh no. He's just like
Since I'm like helping out, is there like a more recent set? Can we tell?
Nothing super easy to see. It's still one of those like you can see there's footprints, but you're not really able to tell when they were made.
Looking around, especially as a little spider, can I see, are there any other like webs around?
Fuck no.
Nothing really. Like there's like signs of like old webs maybe in the corners, but nothing really like that stands out to you. No.
Is there
any? So there isn't like a path that has like more broken webs. than others. No, okay.
I'm wondering. I'm just looking at my bag of tricks, seeing if there's anything I can do. Because I would like to find a pit, but I think we lost Blackwell.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Mm, I do not.
I suggest we
have
pick a
any-
direction and just go.
It's like we're gonna get lost. All right.
Don't worry. Give me just 1 second. And I'll do a little climb down. And I'll
Nyx
climb
is
to
just
like I'll climb to one of the walls and I'll take my little thorax and I'll take my little back legs and I'll start making a little web and I'll attach it to the wall. And then I'll continue to like spin web. Probably like double layering silk.
Yeah.
And then get back on top of Nyx's hat, so that there's a little strand of spider web connected from me to where we came from.
Okay.
And I will be aware of that web as long as I am attached to it.
Okay.
And if anything breaks it, I will know that something broke it and approximately where.
Okay.
Because well in contact with the web, the spider knows the exact location of any other creatures that in contact with the same web.
Oh, well, that's handy.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go to the biggest one. The biggest entrance.
They're all about the same size.
David, give me something.
Pick one.
Let's
got- you
go
got-
forward.
Let's just go forward then.
Okay. As you kind of go down the center-ish path, and head your way kind of down, it starts off as a, first you're entering into like, oh, okay, well this is kind of a neater space, and you walk through and you're kind of like tutsing about for a little bit, and then you notice it starts to like, what started like at first as a very gentle, gradual decline has like started to like be more and more noticeable as you're going. It's not like anything that's impassable per se, but you're definitely finding yourself winding down a really long path, and it kind of like, it seems like it almost like bumps into walls and comes back on itself, and it kind of slowly descends, and as you get lower and lower and lower, the water gets like the air around you gets a little bit warmer and warmer and warmer, and you can feel kind of like there's you're probably near a natural hot spring of some kind, just from the heat and the warmth and the space and the humidity that you're feeling, and that kind of smell that you're getting of like, not quite sulfur, but like that like rich mineral water scent that you've kind of got in. It's, the sound of water dripping has slowed, but like the moisture and like humidity has maintained as you're going. And then you eventually find yourself at the bottom of this path, and there's kind of like a small little chamber where it's in, and then there's a crack in the wall, and somebody's erected like a door, and I use that phrase loosely as it's more or less 9 planks that have been strapped together and then leaned up to cover this hole.
Alright, well, that seems like our best bet. Look, since we haven't ran into anybody, do you think it's safe enough to go grab the guys and bring them through here, or do you want to continue searching on?
I believe we should continue searching on.
Alright, if anything happens, I want you to run as fast as you can back to the beginning of the tunnel. You're faster than me.
So sorry,
Alright.
you guys are gonna push on?
Yeah, we're gonna. I think Nyx is gonna slither over and just like slowly open the door.
How far away are we from the entrance at this point?
Yeah.
Like you're probably about 10-15 minutes like of like solid walking,
Okay. Gotcha.
back.
Then yeah.
Yep.
it's empty, it's empty.
As you kind of like reach for the door, give me a quick like perception check. I'll tell you how much you see as you get closer a little bit.
Pardon. Before you open the door, allow me. Are there any like cracks or little like pockets that perhaps approximately a 4-inch leg span, a 4.75 inch leg span spider could squeeze its way through?
Oh yeah, there's definitely space for stuff like the I'm using the phrase door very loosely. It's kind of like at like normal person height, it would block off the entrance, but like the way that this crack in the wall is, you can see that like you could easily just go up over the door and through the crack.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that and get to the other side and take a little look around before Nyx opens the door properly.
Yeah.
Just in case.
So scuttling through there, it's like maybe a 10-foot wide crack that kind of like weaves a little bit before it opens up into a really large chamber.
Sorry to interrupt. Apparently you are very quiet, David.
Oh, that's weird. I did have a weird hiccup a minute ago too, so I wonder if having issues with. Nope, I'm coming through fine on there. Okay, we'll see if this works better. We'll go from there for now, and fingers crossed. So yeah, as you kind of like wander through the space and into the cracks and along, the space opens up into a much larger room. And what you're presented with is what can best be described as like some kind of work site. So what you're seeing here is you're looking at the space is a wide open chamber. Some of it appears to be natural. There's a pool of water off to your right with some columns spread throughout. And, you know, it would look like a natural cave structure to the average person for the first little bit looking at it, up until they actually started to study it a little bit more and noticed all of the lanterns lying about. And there is a large number of lanterns that have been placed about and are lit and are lighting up the space for you to see, and those in of themselves would be kind of interesting if it wasn't for the clear sounds of mechanical workings and a bunch of goblins standing around using tools to like dig away at the walls. There appears to be some kind of machine in the center of the room that they're constructing. But they also appear to be like carving away the outsides a little bit to make this space bigger. So there's, you know, off to your left, there's a collection of lanterns, and there's tools, and there's stuff that they've piled up there, like working equipment and piles of things that they're working with. There's some kind of pit off to the left that they're like dumping things into. And you can kind of watch as the pit like shifts a little bit, and they can like kind of dig their way through. So they're clearly like sorting something. A little bit further, you can see what looks almost like a camp that's been erected there. Some kind of workbenches, and then far down to the end, just at the edge, kind of what you can kind of like make out with all the lights and everything, and the way that they're shining on you. You can kind of see that there appears to be like another entrance on the other side that's like much bigger.
Okay. I will and crawl back over the door.
It's just like
There are goblins inside. They are working on something and erecting a machine. We should get the others.
Okay. Like, Nyx looks back up at the slope and everything, and then looks back at the end, like, could you go? Because I don't know if I can make it up there fast enough.
You watch one of the little front hands go up in a little spider salute. And
Yeah,
like...
but before you go, is there any more of you here?
No. All
Okay.
old webs are unattended and abandoned.
Cool. please do not tell anyone of this.
I believe that there's too high foot traffic to maintain a proper ecosystem in this cave for this species.
All right, you go ahead. If anything else comes of light, I'll try to rush back and let you know before coming back in.
Stay hidden. And I'll scurry off with my 20 feet of spider movement. Probably taking like walls and ceilings when possible.
I love that.
So it takes you longer because you're moving significantly slower. You know, in walking speed, might not seem as much, but it does add time. So about 20 minutes later, you emerge.
I'll run.
Okay,
I'll move it.
You'll run
40.
You'll run the whole way.
Spider run.
Spider run.
Screw Spider-Man. Have you heard of Spider-Me?
All I can imagine is just like these little dust clouds, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Like it's
see
one of those
them,
like
just
close.
like grabbing your like web, and you're just like, you're just like pulling yourself in your web. Just
It's one of those
Yeah,
zoom-ins where
am-
it looks like me is like absolutely flying. Like there's like the animation blur behind little spider. You get like some enthusiasm. It's like and in reality, it's just a spider like normally moving along one of the walls.
It's got the full like the Lion King effect where he's running through the desert and it's like got the big version of like his hands going as he like moves through the desert.
I think Nyx is just watching this like, maybe I should have gone. Buddy, you okay over there? Just see
We will be fine.
Yeah, but about 20 minutes later, you wind your way back up to the top there, and find your companions standing around. What have Theodore and Alice been up to in the time that they've been the future me and Nyx have been gone?
I think Theodore would have been talking to Alice, like trying to get to know them, where they were before all this, what they've been doing, like those, like, you know, those introductory questions of like, where are you from, what you're into, you know, what have you done, your interests, things like that.
Like talking to your grandchild you see once every 6 years. Are you still into the Pokemans?
Are you still dating that nice young man? Like, I like that man. Yeah, he robbed like
Grandma, he cheated on me
stores.
like 5 times.
And then they start talking to you about God. Like, oh, you just got to bring up the God, baby. That's all you got. Like, God got nothing to do with this right now. Like, God got nothing
to do with this, Nana.
Yeah.
But basically that kind of conversation where it's like, oh God, he's going full grandpa.
So yeah, like me, you come up in your little spider form at the top there, and you find, you know, Theodore and Alice playing 20 questions, and yeah, so
20 questions while playing cards. I have a set of cards.
And somehow I feel like Alice has beaten Theodore multiple times, and he's just like, well, I'll be. If I was a gambling man, you would have stripped me blind by now.
She's
Alice has been
unsure.
eating the cards when you are not looking.
Extra vision. Got any twos? How do you know?
every time.
There are goblins present in the cave. We request your immediate presence.
Oh, goblins. No, those
What
are
are they
fine
doing?
folk.
Digging.
She'll stare
Just
at like,
digging?
so where?
I believe they are erecting a machine of some sort.
Sorry.
Let's go talk to these goblin folk. I'm pretty sure they're doing nothing wrong. They're like just regular folks like us. Oh, let's go talk to them. Let's see what they're doing.
Theo,
I do not know the goblin language.
please carry me. I am very small.
You traveled a long way from here, little lady. And he places his hand down for future me to crawl up on. And he like places her on his shoulder. It's like, I got you. Don't worry, darling. Theodore's got you.
I will provide directions.
Lead on, little lady. Lead on.
And I'll lead them back to where Nyx is.
And you see like this hunkering 8-foot tall dragonborn having to like basically, what is it, Gears of War kind of walk, like they're crouched.
I know the exact look you're like, where it's like the entire time you're going. Again, a dad through a random playground is the vibe you're giving here.
Boy.
Me every day with my son, just like, okay. It's knees, quads, legs day.
Yeah. Every day's every part workout day. Yeah, it's
Monday, Tuesday, every day.
It's a slow stumble back. At this point, you guys have been here for about an hour and a bit, kind of making your way back and forth. But the group, you find yourselves down at this entrance here. You're all back together.
Okay. The goblins are the goblins are beyond this door.
Shall we go
I got
say
one
hi?
of my little spider tendrils in my mouth. I apologize. Please allow me first.
Wait, what? We're going to say hi? Like, Nyx just sees the spider and goes, but then looks at Blackwell and we're like, I'm sorry, did you say we're gonna go say hi?
I was asking.
Communication is the first form of contact.
And goblins are regular folks like us. So who knows what they could be doing? They probably doing nothing harmless. Or they probably don't even know what they're getting themselves into. We first talk to them, see what's going on, and then we move forward. They're peaceful folk once you get to know them.
Allow me to go first. I'll shimmy my way beyond the door again.
Shimmy.
Are you
And I
in
will
spider
climb.
form, or are you?
I'm going in spider form.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going on the ceiling
Okay.
Okay.
till about the middle of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going with this, Neon?
And I will just full volume, not like yelling, but like talking volume. Attention, goblins.
Oh no.
It is the voice of God.
What is your purpose?
You see like you see them all like stop and like look around, and like one of them's like, boss?
Oh God, it's
Yes.
probably echoing around.
Yes.
You sound different.
It's the cave water.
Yeah, that's fine. Grobnak was drinking it, and all of a sudden, and you hear one guy go, "Yeah, it's been a pretty weird time for me."
Yeah, I like
The tsunami.
spring water.
My man went through 5 stages of puberty.
I love that. Yeah, that's something to me too. What the fuck? Do the rest of us just
up
watch
here
this like
somewhere.
from the doors? Just like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
Like here.
So you guys are like
Probably.
sneaking, like looking through the door, being like, "What is going on?"
Like, I think as soon as we hear that voice of like future me just boom out, we slowly open the door, like creak it open, and just peek through, like, okay, where is this going? What is
One
happening?
top of each other.
Yes.
I'm trying to
is your
find you on the
directive?
map. Oh, there we go. I was like, wait, where is is me on the map? How far are they?
There you go. Now we're in map view. Everyone can see. Yeah, so that's about what you guys are presented with. It's a fairly open cave, and the goblins are now like looking around, like all confused, like. What can we do for you?
What are you doing?
Roll me a performance check.
Oh
For
god.
sure, I will. 100%. 6.
Oh!
Yeah!
Wait a second. Grobdock, is it the water that did that? Oh, I have no idea. I just woke up one morning and I sounded like... I don't think that's the boss.
Grognard's going
Correct.
through puberty. Which one's Grognard? Wait, on
Yes.
the map, which one is he?
Which one's Grognar? Is this our fart buckle moment? Are we adopting a
We're
goblin?
not
no.
killing Grognard. He needs to live.
This one's Grognard.
You know
Okay.
what? Let's make a note.
Grognard.
That one's Grognard. We need to make sure he survives.
Just gonna adopt the goblin.
Okay, the green one. Gotcha.
Nobody gives a fuck. Correct. Apologies. I am not your boss. I am the mountain.
What?
I think Max is just watching, like,
You, like, are you a metaphysical representation of the mountain, or are we talking here like somebody gave the mountain smarts?
Yes.
I
Okay,
feel like from the
okay, but that's like two separate questions. Yes is not an answer.
okay, quick question. Nyx is like, have some stealth. Can Nyx get a little closer just in case something happens?
Yeah, definitely can.
I think Nyx is just.
I
gonna-
am the voice of the mountain.
I think Nyx is just gonna stay right
Like-
here.
like physically, I'm confused by this turn of events. I don't believe you.
David, I want you to look at the
It's
Twitch
okay.
chat for a second. The Twitch for a second.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
What happened? I'm not seeing it.
The Twitch is showing. So here's the thing, David. Is the screen that's supposed to be showing the map is instead showing our Twitch, and it's an
whoops.
infinite tunnel down.
Well, that's not good.
I was just
That's
looking
good.
over. I'm like, David.
it's an infinity tunnel.
I opened the wrong screen.
Uh,
There we go.
I'm just gonna have Nyx just chill right here, just a little closer, just in case.
I think Theo's gonna kind of follow Nick's path where they first landed at. Do we have to make stealth rolls for this?
You will have to. Nyx has the stealth roll like reapplied, so they are invisible until they do something to cease the visibility. So you'll have to give me a stealth check to.
Let's see.
How's Theo's stealth? Oh dear God!
You know how I said my Dragonborns don't make it,
So
and how we started at a nat 20 and it's been going down significantly.
Yeah, you definitely got caught on that one really quick. So the turn of events looks like this. The goblins are all like looking around because somebody has been claiming to be the voice of the mountain, but they started off by claiming to be their boss. So now they're like very much like, okay, something's sus, something's not right here. So they're kind of like doing
Not
this
right,
like
yeah.
look around, trying to figure out what's going on. And in all of this, they're looking around and they just kind of like turn to look towards the entrance, and there's like 6 pairs of goblin eyes that like fix on you immediately as you come through the door, Theo, and they're like, wait a second, you're not supposed to be here.
But
Yes,
are you
we
supposed
are.
to be here?
Well, yes, I am currently being paid to be here. I am supposed to be here.
what are you being paid with? Like, is it worth your time to be here, though?
I would assume
Workers,
so.
do you
Are you being paid well? Are you being
are you
treated well?
unionized?
I mean, we're treated. Most goblins are unionized. It's kind of the natural order of things. We get together.
Do they
we form-
have dental?
Are you being treated? Do you get 3 meals a day at least, and a snack, a break? Does he get
From the
does your boss
Goblin
give you
Union?
break?
Yeah.
We are here from the union.
From the union.
What? You don't look like a union member. And you see him like look back, and there's like a goblin, like eyes are white, looks like a witch, and like, yes, as the union rep for this site, I do not recognize you.
We are new.
We just came here to
I
make
just think Max
sure.
just in the corner
It's
just
so
watching this, just
good.
like,
Goblins are socialists, and they've all unionized.
I love
That's
it.
going in
I
the
love them all
canon.
so much.
All
Hey, actually-
goblins are socialists.
All of the every other organization and kingdom is done. That's it. It's goblins. They're taking over. We are making it happen. It's the Goblin Kingdom now.
Yeah, I think Theo is gonna be like, wait. We're just here to check on you, make sure you're okay, like make sure you're all right. See what you've been up to. Like you're in a dark cave by yourselves. Like we're just making sure that you're good. Are y'all good? Are y'all okay?
Yeah.
We're worried about cave-ins.
Well, no, that's why the pillars are there. We've also got a bunch of spells put in place to keep the cave from falling in on top of us. Also, this is an old magma chamber, so it's probably not going anywhere.
Does that check out
Like, are you asking
as a
if that-
person, as a person with vast knowledge of nature and arcane things? Does that all check out?
Oh
by
yeah,
me?
this is definitely like an old magma cave.
Okay,
And
for
like
sure.
so like you see them like they're like digging out sections, but like you see that they're also like doing it carefully.
Okay.
They're not just like haphazardly like I'm gonna dig out this.
is there any clues that they might be involved in the murder at all?
Nothing that immediately jumps out at you unless you want to be racist.
I meant that there be some sort of blood
They
or
are
something,
unionized.
David. Jesus.
I'm gonna
Sorry,
say
I
this.
saw an opportunity and I fucking took it.
I'm sitting here like, damn, like going back for sit here. We're going down that route. Ooh, this gonna be spicy tonight.
I was thinking, like, do we see any blood? Not
No,
your
no.
race.
No.
So fucking funny. I'm clipping that. I'm gonna come back and clip
Yeah,
that.
we're clipping that. That's unless you want to be a racist. Wow.
Yeah, no, there's like no signs that these goblins were involved in the murders at all. Like they've got tools, everything is like cleaned and maintained, and like nothing's like there's like stuff that's broken, but it looks like it was like broken on purpose, like it was supposed to be. Like yeah, they're just goblins doing a job, working on a task.
Do they have any tools that are broken?
Nope. So basically, like the machine that's kind of in the center of the room that you guys can some of you I think can kind of see there. It's got like looks like broken like pottery around it. But it doesn't look like it was like this was broken and just neglected. Like it looks like it was like broken like in a very specific spot. And they've broken it and like whatever the contents of it were like pulled out.
Okay.
So what y'all working on down here? Like, what's this project, this task that you're putting your hard work and sweat and blood into? Like, what you doing?
Well,
Can we assist?
I don't really think we should be telling you guys a whole lot about like what's going on here, just considering that it is just technically like a concealed project. We're not supposed to really have like people down here. Like we don't know why you're here. We'd actually appreciate it if you left, to be completely honest with you.
You could pretend we weren't even here. I can promise you we won't tell a soul. And that is on my heart. We will not tell a soul what you're doing down here.
Okay, well we appreciate that for sure. Definitely, it'd be good.
We are investigating a string of murders.
Oh,
They led to this cave.
Do you know the Mountaineer?
no, I can't say I know any mountaineers specifically, but We don't really deal with the human settlements in the area.
I don't believe these are our folks.
Did anyone come through recently? Like, did anyone else happen, like, stumble past, come by?
Some of our magical, like, wards were set off a while ago, but, the boss took care of it, said they went and looked at it, said it must have just been an animal or something, so, I don't know.
We have reason to believe that it was not just an animal. Can we talk to your boss?
Can we see where the wards were?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you would have gone past them. They haven't been put back yet, but they were in that tunnel system. In there, in the hot spring that's up there, all that kind of stuff. We kind of like all prepared and set up. And again, the one in the back, she's like, I did them personally. They take time though.
And I'm sure they were magnificent.
No, they were kind of haphazard. I'm gonna own that one. That's on me.
I may have to report you to Goblin OSHA.
Kosha.
I love it.
Goblin occupational safety.
Listen, the safety guy's not around. We don't got to worry about anything. Where is your boss at? Like, who's in charge? Where they at? Can we speak to them? Like, we just trying to get this mystery solved. A lot of good folk were harmed. We just want to know what's going on, what's happening, and maybe the people we're looking for were the ones that set off your wharves and disturbed your work, and unfortunately bringing more disturbance because we're here.
Oh well, I mean, yeah. If you head down the back tunnels there, you can kind of like follow those along. That'll take you down to the pit. It's kind of a misnomer. It's less of a pit and more of just a pool of magma, but the name stuck. You know how that is. And that tends to be where all the workshops are. They can probably point you in the right direction. You kind of keep going that way. I don't know if they're necessarily going to talk to you. It's kind of a the whole setup down here is all hush hush. We're not really supposed to be talking to a lot of people. Actually, I think I've made a terrible mistake. Who are you with?
Yes.
Okay, that see, now this is a problem. Yes is not the answer to that question. There are a list of very specific organizations that are perfectly...
We are with you right now.
Okay.
We are with you. We just happened to stumble across this place. Again, we were just hired because some people were scared. They were worried something was going on.
Okay, but
and now we're just trying to figure out what's going on. We were just brought together randomly.
We do not want to impede your work any more than we have to.
Okay, well, investigation indicates that there's probably two organizations that come to mind. One of them will have to kill you if you're a part of, because they're kind of dicks. And one of them we're pretty chill with. So,
we are independent contractors working underneath the Frontier Adventure Company.
Then you guys are fine. You're all idiots anyways. And he goes, don't worry about them. Don't worry, but they'll probably get themselves killed. Yeah, definitely head back that way. Talk to them, and they'll give you like some rations and send you on your way.
Would I be able to?
We appreciate your cooperation.
Since I'm hidden, would I be able to draw the machine?
This
book I have.
You definitely could, yeah.
I'm going to do that because something's
make,
going on.
Can I make actually like I'm looking at the machine too. Can I make like any sort of arcana or history roll to try and figure out what this thing is?
Give me an arcana check.
Absolutely.
Actually, give me both an arcana and a history check. I want to see both.
21 on history, 9 on arcana, because somehow with a 5 I still rolled bad.
Okay, so on your arcana check, yep, that's magical. What it does, you have no idea. Its end goal is magical. History check. In the depths of your mind, this is not one of your memories.
Mm-hmm.
This is a memory of somebody else. You have seen an imperfect version of exactly what you're looking at. You know, it was the thing you looked at before was old, and it had been, the way it had been built originally, it clearly was intended to be constructed out of materials that are fairly good. It was still like beautiful craftsmanship, but it was craftsmanship with like much less sophisticated tools. You've seen something like this before, but like not as modern. So whoever this is taking liberties with whatever this is to make it using modern techniques. And it's probably magical. Like,
Yeah.
60% sure.
Do I have any context around what that old machine was for?
Not really.
Not really, just that I have seen it before.
Yeah.
It's magical in nature, and this is just a more modern, refined version of it. All right. I apologize for the deception, but I must, well, time is up on ceiling time, and I will, time is up on the wild shape, and I will transform from the ceiling and drop down, like, right behind these goblins in regular form.
Is it a cool, or do you like just like land like feet first, or do you like superhero pose as you like land?
I think I land feet first, and despite being made of metal, it's surprisingly soft.
Fair. They all kind of look at you and go, oh. And the one in the back goes, that's definitely not the class I would have picked you for, but by God, you did good.
Pardon for the deceptions.
That's okay, we're used to it.
No, that's not something you should be used to. You should be treated fairly. And we apologize for disturbing your work. And while, yes, some of us are prone to being killed, to prevent that from happening, do you mind like leading us through real quick? Like just taking a few more moments out of your time just to guide us safely through.
Yeah, I guess I can walk you back. And he kind of like he like picks the one of you that looks the most pathetic and just kind of like, you see him like kind of have this moment of like, who's the child, and just ends up on Alice, and it's like, well, come along, and just like grabs her by the finger and starts like kind of like toddling along.
He's like, thank you.
And yeah, this goblin leads you down through a series of kind of like, it's a big tunnel. So, you know, this chamber probably was a pool at one point and kind of like gave way down below. Actually worked the other way if you know how magma chambers work, but that's beside the point. You know, you kind of like follow the flow along. And this is like where you can start to see like their work has been like a thing. So the cave walls have been like smoothened out, and the floors have been like kind of evened, and there's support structures as you kind of go. Like somebody's like taken time to engineer this entire structure. And you know, before where it was like, oh, it's getting hot and humid, and you're kind of getting this flow of like, oh, okay, like yeah, this is like you know, there's probably some kind of like pool down here that's warming up and stuff. That heat continues to grow, but the moisture disappears as you go. Alice, you feel very comfortable in this space. For you, it feels like the furnace of a steam engine, like you're standing next to one as you kind of descend through this. And it's a fair bit of walking that it takes to get to the bottom of this path. And when you arrive, the chamber you arrive into is city-sized. It is truly a massive amount of space. If it was just a regular cave, the darkness of it would be all-consuming, just with how deep underground at this point you really are. But what you really have found is a small series of shops built around a lake of fire. There is an active pool of lava that is kind of sitting and bubbling and pooling over, which wouldn't happen in the real world, but for fantasy, it's kind of fun to play and pretend like it would. And it kind of like bubbles along, and it you know, lights this cavern in this kind of mystical, ever-present way. and here you find yourself like a series of constructed buildings. Somebody's taken time to like, it's stone from the area, but they've built proper like structures, and there's almost a small settlement that kind of exists in this area. It's a mix of the more monstrous races is your most immediate notice as you kind of look at it. There's hobgoblins, and there's goblins, and there's, you know, all kinds of creatures that typically people would associate with being some closer to monsters than to creatures, but they all seem to be kind of just working and doing stuff. There's various tasks going on. There's crafting and engineering, and there's all these little pieces, and you kind of like everywhere you look, somebody is doing something and is kind of like building out this space. The most noticeable thing is somebody has constructed what appears to be a wizard's tower in this space. It's a modern construction, so it's regular brick stacked up and everything's piled and it's carefully structured and everything, but it's a wizard's tower for all intents and purposes that you find yourselves at the base of.
Just as we walk down towards, like, as we're leaving that first cave area, future me will give a little nod to the Union Witch, as per proper due diligence.
She like waves at you a little bit.
And as we get down to the bottom, and like there's more monstrous races available and present, future me will take a second and like stretch out her ankles and heels, and the rest of the party will watch as future me's legs go from the regular forward bend knee to like shifting into a backward stance as the knees shift to be that backwards like avian leg, and we'll just comfortable.
Can I have like Nyx still be hidden, like just watching from the background?
Yeah, Nyx is.
I just want Nyx to be invisible, just watching this, just in case something's going on.
Yeah, so
Wow.
so Nyx finds like it. Yeah, Nyx is still got the invisible thing and hasn't done anything to dismiss it effectively. So yeah, Nyx is just kind of like sneaking along.
He's just a sneaky snake.
Being a sneaky snake.
Do we know that Nyx is there, or is it just like
You guys would know Nyx is there, but Nyx is hiding from everyone else.
And meanwhile, Alice, in her innocence, is like, "Do you not feel the heat down here?" To the goblins or to whoever's leading them.
Oh yeah, like it's pretty hot. Like it gets you work up a sweat just kind of sitting around, but it's kind of nice too. Like, it's like there's always kind of sunshine out, a little dry, so you have to always make sure you're pulling water. But this is the way it is, right?
you kind of
I
see,
know exactly what you mean.
you see
I was
Theo,
once
like,
a train.
It was once a train.
Yes, I've heard that's how the steamborn are. Were you a passenger, cargo? What was your thing?
First class train.
That must have been exciting. You must have met some pretty interesting people.
I did. I was able to learn the common language and the language of the Sheruka?
The Serusha?
Yes, them.
Yes, that's surprising. They tend not to be open to sharing their language very much. They're kind of dicks.
Well, when they
This is factually correct.
do not take this the wrong way, but when they ride you, they tend to speak their own language. It was not by choice that I learned, or they taught me.
Fair point. That does sound like something they would do. Pretending you weren't there and all that. This is the pit. Excuse the misnomer. The name's kind of stuck. Boss's shop is, and he points at the wizard tower, goes, I think you're smart enough to figure that one out. Over there is the barracks. There's a lot of folks that'll have homes and stuff, and if you need a place to stay, it's kind of just like, we'll assign you rooms. It's just how it works. It's pretty simple. And over there is going to be the cook shack, where you can find water and supplies. Make sure you stay hydrated. It gets pretty hot down here. Well, except for you, miss. Not really going to bother you too much. I gotta go back. Anything else before I go?
what was your name, Sonny? Like, just so we have a name to the person to thank.
Oh, they all call me Goblin Boss Croc.
Is it just Croc or is it Goblin Boss Croc?
Well, Goblin Boss is like my official title. I've worked here long enough. I gotta be a Goblin Boss. So,
You get like the Borderlands 2 style like title card for him.
yeah, it says Grok, and then like in brackets ahead of it, it says Goblin Boss. And then like
Or
afterwards, it says
Goblin
main-
Boss Croc.
Yeah.
And then underneath it says been here long enough.
And then there's like a little brackets. It's like derogatory question mark. And he's like, okay, well, have fun, stay hydrated, and don't get lost.
Thank you,
and he
Grok.
like toddles off.
Thank you for your help.
Hi, Grok. Like,
appreciate
Nyx just
some of it.
whispers that slightly. Bye.
Pardon. I must change. It appears we are about to talk to someone of relative importance. And I will reach up and I'll put my little metal fingertips on the edges of my faceplate and I will just pop that bad boy right off. And underneath, there is no facial features. There is just kind of swirling arcane energy in like, gosh, what is it? It's like that thing where it's like that center core and then there's like 6, 7, 8 rings that are all like spinning and moving around it.
Mhm.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's like all like arcane runes and sigils and just like, and I'll put that polished metal faceplate into my bag and I'll pull out one that is a finely detailed ceramic that has a proper like nose and eyes and mouth shape and has gold filigree around like the eyebrows and like gives it actual proper facial features. And they'll adjust. And then you see little ceramic eyelids like blink open and closed and the little eyebrows shift. And now there's
Like it's
an
calibrating.
actual, yep. And then the jaw moves a little bit.
Still
I am
not
now
used
ready.
to that.
Now look at that. That was something.
I am quite unique in my design.
Well then, shall we get going? Boy, are you going to be in that corner all day?
It's just like staring. I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and just walk slithers away. Like, God damn it! Like,
Like, why do you want to be away from the group so bad? Like, come join us, boy. Come on, come on now, come on.
You're pissing too damn loud, boy.
Nyx just looks at me like, do you understand anything about stealth? I was going to go ahead and snoop a little bit.
We kind of are entrenching on someone else's home, their place. If we give them a reason, we kind of got the disadvantage here. It's a whole city. Let's just be as open as we can.
If we want them to cooperate, we should be polite.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and do that. I'll be with you
Best
guys,
face
but
forward.
I do not want to be talking to people.
You don't got to talk to people. I mean, if you don't want to, I mean, I'm pretty sure she can. He points to future me. I mean, would you rather they do the talking or I talk?
You talk a lot, old man. Nyx is
You
just like,
talk very little for someone who wants to be a leader. These are things that you gotta learn. If you wish to be a
I never wanted
leader,
to be the leader.
you claim to be one. You
No,
to be
they-
a leader. To be a leader, you need to be able to open your mouth and make decisions.
I don't want to be a leader.
So, what do you want to be? Why did you join this company?
They want to be free.
I mean, this is the worst way to be free. You got responsibilities and things to do now, boy. Like, free from what?
I don't feel like telling you that, Nyx says as he slithers.
That's okay. We can catch up later. That is completely fine. You're free to your privacy.
His eyes twitching to the side, like, why is this my life? It's just like now out of hiding because pretty much this whole conversation probably pretty much brought attention to Nyx, and it's just walking by me or slithering by me.
Freedom
I love
is
the
through assistance through others,
I'll be honest, I love
or
Nyx's
intense magical
relationship.
study over the approximate course of 876 years.
Me, I don't really want to talk right now, buddy.
Unfortunately, you are already talking.
Oh god.
Alice, I think your friend needs a little like pick me up a bit, like can you assist with him while we go up this tower? Like I think he needs a smile. Well, the play that piece that you were doing earlier.
Would you like to play cards?
Not right now, Alice. I will play cards with you when we are back at the company. I promise. I swear. Please. Like, this is a defeated man.
I can make it so you can't hear them anymore if you want.
I feel for Nyx so badly in all of this.
It's just like, I appreciate you, Alice. I really do. I'm just gonna need a minute. And know me, that's not a literal minute. Please do not time.
Removing countdown.
Like he's been here long enough that he knows these two and knows their shenanigans. He's like,
Now you're learning something, boy. Like you're speaking up for yourself, saying what you need. I'm proud of you.
I wish I could throw something at you right now.
Now, why
There is
would
nothing
you do
physically
that?
stopping you from doing such.
That is
Violence
not
is not the answer in this scenario.
and that is not
Violence
a
can
nice
always
thing
be
for-
an answer in any situation.
Oh god. Like it's just like I need the stiffest drink when we get back.
They
Pardon,
might have a bar here.
how can a drink be stiff if it is liquid?
And again, that's not really good for you. Like that's not good for your soul, for your health. Like it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let's go up the wizard tower. Talk to this
Perhaps
man,
gelatin.
and then we can find you a bar, and you can cut loose if that's what you need. Like whatever will make you into a better place.
Oh dear god, there's 3 of them. Just walks.
I apologize for them. They are. And I'll just walk in.
Well, you don't gotta apologize for me. I'm pretty. I say I'm pretty good. Like with me walked in, I'm going with them, and I'll walk in behind me.
At the base of the tower, you're kind of greeted by there's a group of bugbears that are sitting there, and they're like clearly working on something. As you walk in, they look over you and they go, "Can we help you?"
Yes.
Can we?
We would like to talk to your boss.
Yes, thank
Oh.
you.
Did Croc bring you down?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Oh, well, that explains how you got here.
We talked to your union rep, and now we need to talk to your boss.
Oh, you talked to the bog wench. That's fair. I can understand why you're a little tired. That makes perfect sense.
Yes, she's the reason.
He's like, okay, well,
He's just been through a lot. He it's a transition for him.
I
It
can.
was
Don't
very cold
touch
this
me.
morning.
Yeah. Hold on a second. And he like rings a little bell, and you hear it kind of like And the ring, it starts off as a little like ding dong ding 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 ding, and it goes ding 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 dong 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 dong, and you can hear like the tower kind of reverb with it. Just some kind of spell to basically like drop and increase the magnitude of the sound that it puts out. And there's kind of a pause for a second. And then very gently behind you, you hear the sounds of feet touching the ground. Turning around, you find yourselves face to face with a tall owlin dressed in large like robes. He's got a pair of large spectacles on, and he looks at you, the collection of you, and goes, welcome to my keep. How can I help you? And with that, we're going to end for the night.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yes.
Just ignore him, and he's like, "Don't touch me." That is. No.
To all of our lovely folks who've tuned in for the night, thank you so much for hanging out with us and for having
we
a
just
wonderful
got
stream.
a raid.
Jess brings
Ah.
in an amazing group of people. Hello, Jess the Human and Raiding Party.
welcome.
We are actually about to do the exact same thing. So, since you are raiding to us, how about you choose who we're going to raid while we do our outro really quickly? It's wonderful to see all of you. For those of you who are new to our channel, we are Legends of Logomancy, but not just us, because we're a content collective surrounded by some of the most amazing people that help make content happen in this community. I'm surrounded by the amazing players that I've got here with me, Allison, Neon, Teagan, and Blackwell, who have been my players this evening. My name is David. I'm the Dungeon Master. We do a whole bunch of really cool, crazy, fun stuff here. This is our Wednesday night show. This is Frontier Adventures. Takes place in kind of a Wild West steampunky, I don't know where I was going with that word, setting where we are currently investigating some murders that happened. If you want to tune in, we are here every Wednesday night. We have shows on Monday nights as soon as James gets his office fixed. Although I believe we are finally coming back to those coming back, which are our regular Monday nights. That is a rotating host of shows where you can see all kinds of fun new game systems tried out by our lovely cast of players. Tonight we've been playing a combination of D&D 5e and D&D 2024, so we are very, very excited for us to be able to talk a little bit about that a little bit more as we move on. If you love Dungeons & Dragons and amazing stuff, feel free to give us a follow. If you really love what we do, I recommend watching a full show first. Feel free to subscribe. And then come hang out in our Discord. We've got a fantastic group of people that love to have little funs, bits. Apparently, Dyson Autism streaming. So that's who we're going to actually send our love out to.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
We're going to go Dice and Autism. There we go. They got 15 people streaming. They're playing some Dungeons & Dragons. We're going to prep that raid to get ready to go. I want to thank all of my amazing players for coming and joining on, especially Blackwell, who jumped in last minute and rolled up a character and
Like
is playing fully in D&D 2024. So
Yes.
he is experiencing everything in full chaos with us.
Gotta put that theater degree to use somehow.
Hell yeah, you do.
Yeah.
We'll find more uses for it in the future, I promise. Again, Teagan playing Alice. I've got Neon playing Future Me. I've got Allison playing Nyx, and Blackwell, who played and jumped in as Theodore Blade, our wonderful new Dragonborn fighter.
Who's our grandfather?
Who's our
Who's
grandfather? We're all
Yes.
calling him Grandpa Theo now.
Grandpa
We're-
Theo.
we're going to
Hashtag
carry the
Grandpa
raid
Theo.
train along. I want to say thank you to Jess the Human, who is an amazing content creator. So if you are in our community tonight hanging out, go check them out and enjoy the content that is made over there. They have done some amazing things recently, and I definitely want to shout them out and talk about the amazing stuff they have worked on. For the Legends of Logomancy crew and for the Frontier Adventures, I'd like to say good night, have a wonderful time, and we will see you Wednesday.
Bye.
Don't forget to kiss a tumbleweed.